Cascade Mountains. This is S-4! Sit back, relax, and keep your eyes to the skies.
Greetings, folks, and welcome to S4, where we talk about the serious issues involving paranormal and current events, coming to you live from the S4 headquarters in the heart of the Cascade Mountains of Washington State, here live in the Cape Horn Concrete Studio. So this is the last show, our roundtable, of the 24-hour marathon. And with us we have our normal crew with Markham, our scientist, Francie, our psych therapist, and Joe, the master of pointy sticks, and our geologist. So we have a completely balanced team right here. So we're going to give you number 5, your last secret code word for the 24-hour marathon. And the first 5 people to send all 5 of these code words throughout the last 24-hour shows will get a prize. Huh?
I don't get pie. This is sad.
You got, yeah, okay. And the last code word is Atlantis.
So don't forget to send those in to S4RadioWinner@gmail.com.
Atlantis.
Do it now!
Wait, we don't get pie?
No.
What?
Kayla's mean.
I want cheesecake.
I've been up for 20-something hours. I ain't going to making no damn pie right now.
Oh, God.
If you got started
Keys
now,
are
it could
over
be
there.
done by the end of the...
Oh, well, all 5 words.
Did somebody say cheesecake?
I want cheesecake.
Cheesecake.
You make cheesecake?
I want a cheesecake.
Now I gotta make cheesecake?
And pie.
Alright, but you're going to the store.
Cheesecake pie.
I told you the keys are over there.
Okay.
All 5 code words are through the last 8 shows. I guess you gotta go listen to all 8 shows to hear all 5 code words. And I'm not gonna tell you which shows.
Well, even be nice. They don't have to be in order.
If you buy an apron, I'll give you the code words.
No, you won't.
Okay.
I bought an apron.
Where's my code words?
Private message me on Facebook. We'll talk.
Oh, so let's talk one last time about the art show, art contest.
All right, everybody ready for this?
Yep.
Do it.
All right, as you all know, we have the Paranormal Radio Art Contest. We here at S4 know that sometimes when dealing with the paranormal, what we experience cannot be properly put into words, so we are asking you, the public, to share with us your best paranormal artwork. Between August 1st and September 30th, we will be accepting your 2D artwork, which we will then be featuring on Facebook, Twitter, and our webpage during the month of October. The host of S4 will then pick one to win an S4 swag bag valued at $75. All 2D mediums accepted. Must be 18 to enter. All artwork must be PG. No nudity, please. Entries should be submitted to S4RadioWinner@gmail.com. That's S4RadioWinner@gmail.com.
Outstanding!
Yay! You only messed up like half of it.
Not bad for
Right?
24 hours. Yeah. Actually, you're
Not bad for sleep-deprived delirium.
right?
What the hell do you mean, Michael?
What?
See you in 24 hours? Shush.
No,
You don't get to see us for a week.
Right? Nope. In 3 hours, Izzy will be picking me up and taking me home, and I will be passed out.
Izzy, you hear that? You gotta carry him.
Nope.
Just let him sleep in the car.
No, it's only 5 minutes to the house. Not a big deal. So let's see. Joe, what's your first question tonight?
Oh, I got one that'll probably keep going for the next 3 hours. You ready?
Do it.
Let's get it done.
A lot of you are investigators of haunted locations, and I was wondering, has any ghost investigator ever picked up an EVP where the voice said, "boo"?
Yeah.
Really?
Actually, yeah. I believe it was
I was wondering
actually...
about that.
I think it was actually Tony. So let me backtrack, because I don't know if it was on an EVP or if the spirit actually looked at him and said "boo," and that was the case he did astrally in Canada, where Tony doesn't spook. And this little girl's spirit thought she'd be funny and scare him. And so imagine this, she's a spirit, and being astral you can see spirits like normal. And this little girl, probably more like a teeny bopper age spirit, decides she's going to do the exorcist thing and walk down the stairs backwards on all fours, and she said "boo," and he's like, "Really? Is that all you got? Get the hell across!" And he forced her across. But so it wasn't an EVP, but yeah, we've had spirits say "boo," to the team. Hey Tim, glad you made the last show.
Timmy,
excellent. But I'm trying to think though, actually, because I do think we've heard "boo" on EVP as well. But that case sticks in my mind because that was just funny. You're like, really? That's all you got? Bye. Let's see. Francie, have you ever heard "boo" on an EVP?
I've never heard an EVP.
Okay. Fair enough.
I mean,
Fair enough.
unless it's been on a show or something.
You're what? And you're usually the one that's talking directly to clients and not dealing specifically with the spirit side of it or the entity side of it.
Right.
So that makes sense.
Different.
Not "boo."
Here,
Mine, people can't.
Huh?
It seems the consensus is it's either saying "hi" or "hey." I hear "hey," like "hey you."
Right.
But other people say it's like it's saying "hi." Close enough.
Yeah. Now, I have heard.
That question. That question was just kind of a light one for you guys because I know you've been up for a long time. So if you want a more serious one, I could do that.
Well,
yeah.
To keep going with it real quick though, I have heard aliens on EVP, and that was actually specifically on a live EVP session on Facebook through, and I can't remember her name. She was using the executioner's box.
How did you know it was an
Well, because she looked outside and actually saw the craft hovering over her house, and the voice on the EVP said, "Look up." So that was kind of a wow. Okay.
Peekaboo.
Yeah. So yeah, that was definitely and it was a robotic voice, whereas a normal spirit does come through normally as a communicative human voice. This was more like a robotic voice, which kind of indicated to us that it sounded alien to us. And she looked up outside and saw the craft hovering over her house. So yeah, definitely alien coming through an EVP. Bigfoot. When you're talking Bill Hauser with his ghost box, he claims he's gotten Bigfoot before. He may have. I haven't personally heard it, but you never know. You know, can Bigfoot talk through an EVP? I don't think so. I can imagine grunts or whistles or knocks.
I mean, I've heard some people say that he can telepathically talk with them too.
That's so few and far between, though.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, you still gotta believe that anything is possible with a creature that we don't know jack about.
Right.
Right.
But I'm more...
Good point.
I would tend to believe things that have more of a known basis, like infrasound. And, you know, maybe the being able to phase in and out. I mean, there's... But an English-speaking Bigfoot on a SB7, I'm not sure I can willingly suspend disbelief enough to go there.
I am skeptical with the whole telepathy thing.
I'm going to say I'm skeptical on both for sure.
Right.
But I cannot say for absolute sure that it didn't happen either, because I don't know enough about Bigfoot as an individual, and maybe that particular Bigfoot that came across to them or whatever happened to have some English classes in high school.
He was a Buddhist.
No,
One with everything.
And absolutely, you know...
yeah, it's hard. That's the bad thing about this. When one thing that's not supposed to happen happens, and you know it happened, you've got to kind of give the benefit of the doubt, but they're just... Still, to me, there's things that maybe I can't beat my inner scientist, my inner doubter. There's still some things that are so far left field that I would not willing to.
I would say the one thing for me about Bigfoot, though, is he seems to kind of knock out most of the electronics as he goes.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily see him coming through on a spirit box, just because of the fact that I don't think that the energies would add up. I don't think that the frequencies would add up for him to be able to do that.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that necessarily he couldn't change his frequency to be able to do that for a very specific person for a very specific reason.
So since we have
possible but improbable, maybe.
See, that's where I'm going with that. Right. I think it could potentially happen given the right set of circumstances, but I don't think it would be an occurrence that would happen multiple times over multiple sessions.
I'm
still skeptical with Bigfoot being able to speak English, let alone use telepathy. That's my issue. And let me clarify, Michael. Because now we can slow down a little bit because of the roundtable. We're coming to the end of the 24 hours. But interdimensional, and I know you're a skeptic, and that's fine. Everybody's a skeptic to an extent. I go with the interdimensional for many reasons. One is the manipulation of electronics. An ape wouldn't be able to do that. When you're talking cameras going white, and it only happens with Bigfoot, not the coyote, not the deer, which means it's not an electronic malfunction. It's not the camera acting wrong. It's the presence of a creature that is affecting it.
You know those white... I just thought of something. It just flashed in my head. Could those white screens be... It puts its hand up over the lens, and the flash... What you're seeing is a reflection of the flash, point blank, back at the...
No, because it does it with video cameras and stuff, too.
It's not a flash show. These are video cameras.
Don't some of them have flashes on
Some of them do, but not all of them.
But not the ones this has happened to.
Okay, we know.
The other thing, though, is when you're following Bigfoot tracks, and it usually happens in the snow, maybe sometimes in the mud, and people always, well, maybe he climbed up a tree. No. These tracks end in the middle of a field. Where did he go?
His
Hey,
UFO picked him up.
Okay,
Right.
so I'm going to be really weird here for a second. But
What UFO?
no, so we talk about the missing persons cases where you see a couple of footprints and then they just disappear of a human that is missing. So I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but would it be possible that whatever is taking these humans is also taking these Bigfoot, and that's why you see one or two footprints or whatever, and then it disappears?
Could it be Bigfoot using the portal, reaching out?
Almost definitely.
Reaching out of the portal, grabbing the human, and there's no footprints from the Bigfoot because he is on the other side of the portal reaching through.
Right. And yeah, so and that's why I explained, Michael, the camera is not malfunctioning. It's the environment around the camera that's causing it to malfunction. Because of the fact that it goes back to normal once the presence of Bigfoot is gone. So that's not a malfunctioning
Not necessarily.
camera. Huh?
I have three of my Browning game cams right here on the property.
Yours were an anomaly.
Stopped working, just dead. And I've sent them back to the factory, and they send me back a note that says, "We've never seen anything like this. We've run every test we have. We've looked at everything possible. We have no idea why this isn't working. Here's a brand new camera."
But they throw shit at you. They're fucking with you. I mean, you're a special case, I believe.
You like me?
Bigfoot loves you.
You just got called a special case by a psychiatric therapist.
A suitable case.
I feel like an idiot little brother.
but that's the point too. Again, it's not an ape that can actually destroy your camera from the inside like that. That is still the presence of an energy or some kind of a electronic field or magnetic field.
Well, just because one Bigfoot can disappear or one Bigfoot can talk telepathically with someone doesn't mean they all can do it. Francie can do all kinds of stuff that I can't do.
I would agree.
And I would say that is true because think of how many photos that actually have been caught up and video.
Right.
And especially from cell phone cameras, it's amazing how many actually have. With the fact that some of them can disappear.
So what makes the difference? Is it an individual personality and an individual being? Is it? It makes you wonder. Is that particular Bigfoot actually an extraterrestrial, and that one's just an actual Bigfoot?
I would want to compare it to some people can astral, some cannot.
Okay. I can get on board with that.
I was going to say, I think it's an energy thing. Like, what if, you said just a minute ago, and one of my questions is, what makes people affect streetlights? Because, I can make streetlights go out by walking under them.
That's
so many things.
And so is that the same kind of thing as the Bigfoot affecting energy? And if so, maybe some people are more susceptible because they are streetlight putter-outers.
Michael in the chat, Michael Carr in the chat room makes a good point. What if it's not Bigfoot at all with some of these fae?
That is the fattest fairy I've ever seen. Where the hell did his wings go?
Oh my god!
But there's fae that are actually taller than humans.
Yeah.
And we talked about that during the Fae and Dragon show. It is a possibility. It hasn't been ruled out. It really hasn't. It's been discussed. Is Bigfoot part of the Fae realm? It is possible.
It could be.
I don't personally.
There's not a bestiary of what's available in the Fae, really.
Tinker Bigfoot needs a shave.
Tinkerfoot.
No.
Tinkerfoot. Oh. Tinkerfoot. I love it. Yes. Tinkerfoot.
So I have kind of a follow-up kind of question.
Whoa.
We gotta get to the light anomaly real quick.
All right.
Because most of the time, people that can walk past streetlights and they turn out, it's caused by an implant.
Ooh.
So maybe
What did you say? Again?
Caused by an implant?
Beeped out.
It's caused by an alien abduction implant. It's
Well,
mostly,
then I've been abducted by aliens
It's mostly alien abductees that actually cause these streetlights to go out.
What's that one?
Huh?
What's that one?
That's not the same thing. It's not the same thing at all. Okay, some people are capable of doing this on command. Okay, not necessarily command.
You gonna tell me you did that on purpose?
Right.
No, I can think them out like I can make clouds disappear.
Ooh, that's scary.
So you're like Dumbledore? Click!
Yeah. Dumbledore.
What?
Oh,
With the clicker offer?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've never really worked with it, but it happens enough that I can control. I mean, I can think it. You know, it's hard to explain.
You think, therefore you are?
Descartes walks into a bar, the bartender says the
I've heard of
usual.
other people having effects on streetlights also.
Yeah, well, okay, so some of it is your own energy and your own feelings at the time. Some people can affect energy when they're upset or when they're really happy, or any time that you are changing your frequencies to the point where you are interacting with the frequencies that it is giving off. You are... Does that make sense?
Right.
It has been 24 plus
And that
hours.
makes sense to me because, it's probably at periods of intense energy that I can do that. Not
when you're
all
upset and you aren't grounded and your energy is all over the place, you could be turning the lights out. Just like poltergeist activity is usually and again, the poltergeist activity is usually prepubescence, but adults can do it too if they're not grounded and their energy is all over the place. It's not always an entity causing a poltergeist activity.
No, and it totally... Okay, now this is very rare, so don't get me started on that, but it could also be an attachment that you have with you.
I wonder about that.
Possible.
Because of when I lived in Winston, I was in that very active house, and there was a street light every time I went, and it wasn't a mis-aimed headlight or anything like that, but every time I drove under this light, it would shut off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could bet money on it. That light's going to go out, drive up, and, I've had people in the car with me. Watch this, when I get near this street light, it's going to turn off. It was on Robin Hood Road just after I turned out off my road to go to work.
And that didn't happen for anybody else, like the cars ahead of you or behind you, or...
No.
And was it at the same time every day, or was it at
when I
different
would
times?
go to work? Yeah, anytime it was on and I drove under it, it'd turn off.
So, did you watch that street light before? I mean, I just standing, looking down the street, I've seen some street lights that'll just go off by themselves because they're malfunctioning and come back on. 10 minutes later, go off by themselves and come back. I mean,
this was, I don't know, it just seemed like it was predictable in that every time I passed it, whether I was walking or driving, that light would go off. But then, from a distance...
So it was at different times, it was at different places?
Yeah.
Well, I mean the same place, but at different times of the day and everything.
It would be different times of night once
Kayla
it came on.
Izzy wonders if it's just a loose wire type issue. And with Kayla, I would agree. Kayla definitely has a wire loose somewhere.
No, but I mean...
No, I was just meaning if it was at the same time every night that you were driving to work.
Well, it would happen when I drove to work. In the wintertime, it would be dark and that light would be on. The time change and all.
Right.
But when I was off during the week and doing the radio show, we'd get done with our, whenever the after show talk down was over, I would go to a local all night store to get my a pack of cigarettes or a Coke or something, and it would turn off then.
Oh, okay.
So it was like any time that light was on, if I drove under it or walked under it, it turned off.
Okay, then that's obviously something that you're affecting. I was just meaning if it happened to be every time you were driving.
Oh, every
time
time
it was like 6:15 every morning.
Yeah. And if it was dark when I was off work, like in the wintertime, it's dark when I went in. It was dark when I left because of my shift. Coming home.
Okay.
So it was both directions. If the light was on, I drove under it, and 99% of the time it would go off.
Got you, and it obviously had to be something on your person too, because of the fact that even if you were walking, it would do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha.
Because I tried that, I thought, well, maybe it's my headlight, and I had my headlights aimed. It was a new car, so it wasn't. Yeah, other cars were going under, and it was. I could be in a line of traffic. 4 cars would go under that damn light, and I'd go under it, and it'd cut off.
But, Francie, to answer your question here of whether you think that certain people can do certain things with Bigfoot because of the fact that they have different energies, I would have to say that I think that's a very real possibility. So if you are vibrating at the same frequency that a Bigfoot was vibrating at that point, well, then you guys are both in the same spatial time. So you would probably at that point be able to capture a photo where if you were vibrating in a lower or a higher frequency at that point, you wouldn't be in the same spatial time, so you wouldn't be able to capture that photo.
Oh, you think it would transfer to whatever equipment you were using too?
I do, because all of the energy
you affect your equipment.
If you are holding it in your hands, then it is taking the energy that you are
effect is going to transfer.
Yes. So I believe that if you're vibrating at the same frequencies.
So you're saying that the person that has a frequency that kind of matches the Bigfoot might be able to get the picture?
Yes.
Possibly.
So, maybe I have a partial connection or my frequency's close because they don't throw boulders at me. They just throw little rocks.
Yeah,
they're just messing with you, man.
Those are the ones who are just playing with you.
That's
they
playing.
consider. So I'll be honest with you, Joe. With yours, they see you as a neighbor or a brother.
They're waiting for you to hit one of those rocks back with that pointy stick.
Yep.
Yeah. Bigfoot stick ball.
The problem I have with what Kayla said is the one Bigfoot video that is out there is from 5 different cell phone cameras. It was one bus full of 30 people?
Yes.
Right. So you got 30 different energies in that bus.
No, you don't. Not at the time that all of them are sitting and grounded to the same thing. You would not have 5 different. You would have a continuous line of frequency, just like when you plug something into an extension cord.
Okay.
Because
I like what.
Well, there's something you have to keep in mind about Bigfoot, because like everybody's favorite uncle, R. Keith Andrews, says there are 2 types. One is terrestrial, and one is alien, and it's an environmental suit that they have. That's according to Keith.
I know. That's the oh god, I can't remember his name
Awara.
anymore. Huh?
Awara.
Yeah. Awara. That's it. Mm-hmm. But you don't hear a whole lot about the Awara anymore. You really don't.
Yeah.
So I like what Izzy just said too. Not just the vibrations, but also some people just have certain affinities with certain types of creatures, like those that can walk right up to a deer and not have a run, or can calm an angry dog. There's certain similar people that can connect with different paranormal beings as well, and I would have to agree with that.
I seem to have an affinity with crows, apparently.
And that's not a bad thing.
That's pretty cool.
That really ain't a bad thing.
I miss my neighborhood crow that used to come and visit me when I was doing things in the yard.
Yeah.
Just
say they're the
smartest
animals out there.
Shot.
They are. Mm-hmm. They're one of the smartest birds anyway.
Crows are smart, man.
I want to add something. And we've said this in multiple different shows when we're talking about Bigfoot and abduction. If aliens are abducting humans again, why couldn't they be abducting Bigfoot?
They probably are.
When you're talking about potentially different Bigfoot affecting cameras in different ways, and we're talking about the implants that are affecting electronics in different ways. What if that Bigfoot that is affecting the camera has an implant?
I mean,
Do you know what would scare me?
It could be the energies, or it could be the implant.
Do you know what would scare me?
Huh.
Okay, you think of all the people that have actually woken up during surgery because just the anesthesia didn't work. Could you imagine being that alien on a spaceship and a freaking Bigfoot woke up by accident?
No.
Like, damn it!
Oops.
Back to sleep, Daddy. Back to sleep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That would
Being an
suck
alien on a
so
spaceship
bad.
and I woke up.
I doubt that'd be worse.
same thing.
Yeah, you got 40 sticks. Marco, what's your first question?
Well, I thought I had one.
I have one.
Let Cole go.
Okay.
All right. So, do aliens know that we dream? Is it the fact that they are using them to their advantage, or is it just a side effect of abduction when we dream about, like abductees dream about them?
I honestly,
Wow.
I would put it in the realm of like a traumatic experience or a PTSD type of flashback in that dream.
Like a cover
When
memory?
you've been through something that traumatic and your brain suppresses it, it would come back to you at times you wouldn't want it to. And if you are consciously suppressing that, the only time that it could pop out would be in your subconscious, in your dreams.
But do the aliens, are they aware that we dream? I would
Well, how
say
about
yes.
Anything that has a brain or has thoughts or a higher level, it dreams. We dream, dogs dream,
Cat,
sure other animals.
Oh yeah,
dream.
cats dream.
I'm sure
Cats
they're
dream.
aware that things dream.
Yeah. But, you know, I would
But do you
also
think they're
say...
using it as a fact to their advantage, or is it just a side effect?
Oh, they
what's
use
it-
everything to their advantage.
What's
That's what my thought.
Well, it's kind of a two-part question. Like, do they know that we dream, and are they using it to their advantage
I would say yes.
in any way?
If there is an advantage, I would say yes. They're taking advantage of it. Yes. Just because if you were my mindset here is if they're studying us, it would be if we were studying something else, we would, if we knew they dreamt and there was an advantage to it, we would, capitalize on that. So I think they would as well. I mean, probably even
Maybe it's not so much an advantage as that they're just curious.
could be. Maybe they watch our dreams. Maybe they can watch our dreams, and it's like some kind of weird form of pornography for them. Well, it is a violation. I mean, dreams are private.
Right.
And if you're watching somebody's dreams, that's a very intimate violation to my way of thinking.
I honestly don't believe that you can take over somebody's consciousness. I really don't believe that there is a way
So you've never heard of
For-
dream walking?
consciousness to override one. I have heard of dream walking,
Well, if they're
but
telepathic,
in
maybe
the
they
type
can
of
pick
dream,
up on it.
I think they can.
In order to use it to their advantage, they don't actually have to override it. They just have to affect it.
Right.
which is what I'm saying is I believe that it is possible when you accept someone into your dream for them to be able to come in, but I believe that is a door that you are capable of closing. I don't think that is something that without you willingly accepting another person into, or another mind into, or another consciousness into, that it would be able to happen.
I think they can use technology to short circuit your will. Could they be using dreams as a form of screen memory? Oh, it didn't really happen. It's just a dream.
I was thinking that, kind of like the owls and the deer, they project that screen memory of an owl or a deer into your dream to where...
Yeah, but there's no there's no comparison between a screen memory and some dream that you've orchestrated. Like people's dreams are like movies.
Right.
You know, that's just not just a screen memory then.
But it could be manipulated into.
If
you're starting, say they don't want you to wake up. They don't want to. They don't want you to beat the screen. They don't want you to become aware of their presence. And maybe they use dream manipulation to brainwash you into thinking, oh, that was just a dream, or that.
I think it depends on the individual, because you do have, if they can manipulate your dreams, for example, you've got too many cases of abductees who don't remember physically or consciously going into the craft, but they will dream about that craft to the detail.
Yeah.
So if they can manipulate your dreams, don't you think in those cases they could shut your dreams down so you wouldn't remember those?
Right.
That's a good point.
Because that's something they didn't want you to remember, or they would have let you remember the actual experience itself without having to suffer consciously.
They're blocking your memories so you don't remember that you were abducted. Yet, so many abductees remember it in dreams.
And I would really hope that I at least have one thing that can be just me. That is a private and safe zone where nothing else can really get in. I really hope that we all have that. That we all have that in our dreams. That is our one area where we're cool and you can't mess with this.
They were going to use screen memories of owl or deer in your
and
dreams.
That's usually
all my interactions with owls and deer and all the other weird stuff. I'm always wide awake.
Right,
and when I dream
no.
every time I'm asleep, and they're
Right.
the most boring dreams in the world. I swear to God, I'm not lying. Last night, I got a couple hours sleep, and I dreamt that I was in the kitchen and I had the cupboard doors open and I was arranging the cans on a shelf. That's how interesting my dreams are. So I don't think the aliens are putting that in there.
Joe, did you get it done?
Of course not. I woke up.
And
but
yeah,
I did go look in the cupboards that morning.
Right.
Dream working.
And no, Izzy's absolutely right. I don't see them manipulating your dreams if they have the tech to shut you down. Why not just shut you down so you don't see, recognize, remember anything? Wouldn't that be easier? But again, there's a specific people, not everybody, but you have enough abductees that remember the event in their dreams.
At the same time, there are also very rare cases of what they would call holographic implants, which
that's different because that's tech,
right? And that's what I'm saying. So,
that's the one that's in the middle of your brain.
Yes, I don't want it to be possible, but I believe with one of the holographic implants that they put inside your vision sensors in your brain would actually, yes, I think that could be. I don't know that they could manipulate your dreams, but I believe they could watch them from that.
I think they can tap into watch. They can tap into manipulate or guide.
I want to address Michael's comment real quick, and I'm not picking on you, Michael, but no, that's a good point. It's something I was just thinking about too. Had I had an abductee that we were working with, and I had only one abductee that described this holographic implant, I might have a skeptical attitude towards it. Okay, that's weird. I've never experienced that kind of situation before. But we had 3 to 4 different abductees that were all describing, didn't know each other because we're talking a global separation here, but 4 different abductees all describing the exact same holographic image. Or not the same image, but all experiencing the holographic implant.
Mm-hmm.
That's not, you say assuming all abductees will tell the truth, and that's something you think about every time you talk to an abductee, because there are abductees that there are clients that aren't being abducted at all. They want the notoriety. They want the fame. They want the... why, I don't know, because there's so much ridicule that goes into being an abductee that it doesn't make sense. But you can ask Francie as our psych. You know, there are abductees that, for whatever reason, just want attention. And so they make up the abduction experience.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have very
it's a negative
vivid
coping mechanism.
Right.
They gotta have
As
something to make
for-
themselves feel special and wanted.
As for why they would let some people remember, maybe they just need to make their television more interesting, because we're their number one channel.
What, the aliens?
Well, yeah, Human season 2020 right now.
Well, who's to say
Right.
that they wouldn't have been... You know, Izzy brings up a point about just shutting us down. Wouldn't that be easier? But maybe it's a matter of...
Well, they do show us.
They might just be a-holes. I mean, it's just like, they could shut us down, but it's like, why... It's
Some of
like,
them are.
yeah, let's just let's screw around with the talking monkey's brain.
Right.
Dude, look at that guy squirm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and that happens
Well,
too.
if
I
you're
mean,
benefiting from our negative energy, that makes sense, doesn't
right.
it?
And not to mention, they don't feel pain, so they don't give a damn that they're causing the human pain.
Okay.
It might just be an intellectual exercise on their behalf. Can we do this? Oh, we can. Let's do it.
You know, and you've got the weird cases. You have some weird shit. So you've got the case where they're driving down the freeway. They don't take the people. They take the entire damn car. That doesn't happen. You don't hear about that too often. But they screw up. So they put the car back after they're done with the people in it, and they're driving the wrong way down the freeway. Like, oh shit. They pick up the car again, and they fix it, and they put it on the right side of the freeway. But I mean, it shows you aliens aren't even infallible.
The devil. Well, how about the one where there was a case where these people were abducted, and when they woke up, they were wearing the other abductees' clothes.
Yeah,
You know-
They put the wrong clothes on the wrong person.
They put the underwear on backwards.
Yeah, something.
Okay.
You know,
You know,
Like,
I'm going to
seriously?
throw out a little bit of a theory on that one, though. So, you know, when you go in and you have to take driver's ed, you got to take driver's ed before you can drive, right? And, you know, the first time that you get in that car, well, you're hitting the brakes when you shouldn't, you're twisting there and there where you shouldn't. Well, wouldn't aliens have to have some form of training on pulling up humans, on the abduction process, on the equipment?
right.
Well, that kind of reminds me of the very first episode of South Park, where they finally meet the aliens at the end of the episode, and they're talking with them, and they say, "Hey, how come you guys keep turning the cows inside out?" And then the alien says, "Oh, well, that's Carl. He's new."
Stupid Carl.
It's always car.
You know, he hasn't been trained right.
It's better than Daryl. Oh, wait, that's Bigfoot.
Daryl!
Right, but I mean, there's got to be some kind of learning curve on this, too. Like, even for an advanced race, you wouldn't be born
You're still going to
with
have
the
the
knowledge
other aliens
to
that
know
are-
how to do it necessarily.
Maybe that's why some UFOs crash. Bad drivers.
And that writing we find on the craft is student driver in
Right?
Albania.
Do not smoke.
Altarian.
Flammable. Don't smoke around the craft.
I'll throw you one better. Crop circles is just some stupid kid tagging something. Check this
Yeah.
out, guys.
Alien graffiti.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look at the stupid talking monkeys. They think it's something special. That just says Alien Crips.
It took me like 3
Yeah.
seconde, dude.
That's an advertisement for Slurm Cola or
Yeah,
whatever.
right? Reptilian slaughterhouse. Yeah, come on over. Have some human meat.
Eat it, Blorks.
Some. Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me of fried green tomatoes. Ew.
Best barbecue I ever had.
I like that. So Michael
Them
says-
ribs was good.
Michael says, or UFO crash is a result of allowing the humans to drive. You know that happens.
Oh, but yeah, I can just see that the abductee goes, Oh, I can. Yeah, please. I've watched what you're doing.
Would it be allowing them to drive
a car?
Or is that like Cole was saying, that one random one that wakes up and goes, "Holy shit!" and tries to get out of there?
Well, there have been cases too.
I'm not trying to get out. I'm just taking them for a ride.
No, there have been cases too where they do encourage abductees to drive because they want them to do the telepathic connection.
It seems like the overwhelming consensus on that is that they're not physical controls.
No, they're
as much
mental.
as they're mind
they're
controlled.
Telepathically controlled. They're living craft in some cases, not all of them.
I love the idea of living craft,
Planets
like organic.
that appear in the mirror are bigger than they appear.
Yeah, black holes in the mirror may be larger than they.
Watch out for weather balloons.
What? Izzy thinks we hit the wall of exhaustion. No. We're good for 2 more hours.
We're just giddy with.
Right? We're coming to the end of a 24-hour binge, and it was fun. I'm just glad it's done. So Mark,
fun and done.
What's your question?
I
forgot to think of one. Didn't
No,
you?
I had one. Yes, I had one. Damn it all. And I don't even have, the excuse of I took a 2-hour nap.
That's why I write everything down.
I should have, but go get Cole. No, go to
Kayla.
Oh God!
I actually have 3 guys. I came prepared.
No, I got one. What's your favorite paranormal electronic toy?
Big Buzz.
Didn't we talk about that earlier about Egyptian? When was that?
I don't know. I think it was Mysteries.
I think my favorite is. Right. I think the FLIR cameras are my favorite.
Oh.
Because if you're going to see something, I just feel like the FLIR is, and the laser grid projector.
I'm going to be honest. I don't have one yet, and no, not a striker.
Dude, I gotta go old school.
I want a FLIR drone.
I would say a spirit board.
Is he?
Ouija board?
I'm waiting. I gotta get her some more boards.
Is he?
She's kind of waiting on me, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
damn, I had a good one too.
No, I want a thermal FLIR drone. That's what I want.
Now, for me, it's, I'm living up here in the woods, and the one thing I've always wanted is night vision with thermal. I mean, I want the whole thing. I want to see what's out there.
The GI grade.
There's stuff in these woods. It makes noise all the time. I want to see what it is.
Yep.
I want a Celestian telescope. Hint, hint, Michael.
A Celestron?
Yeah, that one.
It's late.
Yeah,
or early.
I want that big fritter.
It's almost late again.
That thing looks so cool. And I've never gotten to actually use one.
Oh, man, I wish I'd have brought my LX10 up with me. I should have.
We didn't have any type of astronomy club in Drumheller when I was growing up, so...
That sucks. No, seriously, I think that's something that every kid should at least have the opportunity to do for, like, trimester.
What's that?
Astronomy club.
Yeah, but I could drink by the time I was 12, so... Like, I had other things on my mind.
What about you, Francie?
Question or...
What would you want as a paranormal
what's your favorite
toy?
paranormal electronic instrument?
It's not the FLIR, it's my real
I use a pendulum.
Okay. So the pendulum will be your favorite instrument?
Only. Well, and, I do crystal stuff, too, but that's just for focus. Like, to focus your intention. So, pendulum. That's it.
You got your question?
Gotcha.
Okay. This is going to be one of those... I don't think anybody's middle of the road on this. Where do you fall on the use of Ouija boards?
Ouija board.
I fall on the side of they are tools, just like everything else is, and it's whatever intent you put into it.
Absolutely.
I've never.
And
been able
I
to-
would even include the like original Hasbro in that.
I've got.
With
Yeah,
enough-
I've got that one.
And with enough intent, that one would still work, in my opinion.
I've never been able to, even as haunted as my house was, I have never been able to get any kind of reaction out of a Ouija board.
Right, but if you're thinking of it with a scientific mind and you say, this probably isn't going to work, but I'll try it anyway.
No, I went into it thinking that I actually bought the thing. I bought the glow in the dark one too. That was hard to find because I wanted to be. I wanted to be in a dark, my blacked out sleeping room where I got the good EVP, and I thought maybe this is a way. I went at it with the idea this is going to be a communicate. I went in pre-believing that it was going to work, and I just got nothing out of it. Of course, I think I'm like the heat sink of paranormal. If you go into an active place with me, it's going to, yeah,
You're going to be zeroed.
yeah.
So here's the deal with Ouija boards, because there's so much confusion and angst over, oh my God, they conjure demons, oh my God, they do this and that. No, they don't. They're
The Exorcist did that. The movie The Exorcist
absolutely.
did that.
They are nothing more than tools of communication. But, so with any tool, you need to use the proper protection and the proper techniques. What Ouija boards do, however, is open up the bottom door, which means anything can come through. So yes, malevolent entities can come through the Ouija board. But like any tool, would you give your kid your chainsaw? No, you wouldn't. You give them the proper gear. You would give them the proper training on the Ouija board. Now, with that, would I take it to an investigation? No. Because you're taking a match into a gasoline, no. You're going to take a communication tool into an already potentially haunted location. That's not smart. But to just randomly use a Ouija board like you would an EVP session, nothing wrong with it.
I would say I would honestly take it on an investigation as long as I was really comfortable with the people that I was going on this investigation with.
There'd have to be some trust.
And there was enough grounding, shielding, and protection there that I felt that I would be okay.
Do you feel that the Ouija board is like just opening your screen door?
No.
Anything that wants to can come through it?
No.
Or is it selected like a filter?
I believe that a Ouija board is basically the... How do I put that?
Is it more of something that it's
the
not so
written
much
word
the
of a
Ouija...
spirit box.
Okay, it's not so much that the Ouija board has any kind of power at all. It's just something that allows us to focus that part of our brain.
Ouija board by itself? No.
No.
It has to use your energy.
Okay.
To actually
And it's
work.
all about what you are allowing in and what you are allowing.
And like Izzy said, so if you're using the planchet, it takes at least 2 people.
Okay.
If you're using a pendulum with your Ouija board or spirit board, then yes, you can do it by
I've had
yourself.
some success with a pendulum before. I've had some weird crap what happened with Dave Scott with a pendulum.
So Izzy said that a planchet board requires at least 2 people to use.
Right.
Do you both actually have to be touching the planchet?
Yes.
Or can
Yes.
you just focus your energy at it?
No, you have to be touching the planchet.
Okay, I was just...
Right, that's where your energy's going
Exactly,
through.
Izzy. Exactly.
Yeah,
that's where your energy's going
Izzy's got it. It's
That's what I was trying to say, but it's like 20-something hours in.
Right,
and
and she says it perfectly. The Ouija is nothing more than the analog version of a ghost box.
okay.
That's all
What
it
happens
is.
if you get a ghost
Now,
that
for
can't
me,
spell?
we had a Ouija board in my household. It was in there, but I think before I was even born. was probably from the late 50s, early 60s.
Right.
When somebody mentioned Hasbro, it's still out in the barn.
Here's the
It's
thing,
got the original
though.
box. It's got the black cover, and there's kind of a misty blue ghost thing on the cover of it.
Yeah.
The
It's
more
still out
you
there,
use it,
and we used it for years when we were kids, and that planchette never moved an inch. So I
right?
don't know if it was us. We were using it wrong. Who knows? But
The
I
deal,
suppose some people get it to work. But for me,
the deal
it's
with the
just a
Ouija,
toy.
it has to be
I had a
charged.
Ouija board in the early 70s.
It has to be
That sounded
charged.
about like that. Exactly, honestly. And my mom and I freaked ourselves out with it, and then we took it out in the yard, and it was made out of like hardy board. You know,
Yeah, it's
I mean,
really
like I
hard.
don't know. What
Yeah, the
fuck it
originals
The
were.
originals were.
And we tried to burn it, and it wouldn't burn, and that freaked us out even more.
Yeah, you don't burn them.
We couldn't do anything with it, and we wanted to get rid of it, so finally we just put it in the trash can.
Did it show up in your room
Did it show
again?
back up in your house?
No, it went away.
Okay.
Mine's in the
okay.
barn.
I think I know the answer to this already, but what happens if you get like an illiterate spirit from the 1500s and you ask it its name?
It's going to put
Is
it
it
over
going to go to
the
the
X.
X?
That's going to be weird because look how the
Will they
alphabet
know?
has
'Cause,
changed.
like at the end of life, I swear in some conversation we've had, you receive certain knowledge at the end of this life.
Okay, say it again.
So, is it not true that at the end of this life you receive certain knowledges when you...
When you cross over?
Yeah.
So your personality will change. You'll be at peace when you cross over.
But like if you were illiterate in life from the 1500s, when you cross over,
Well, that also
can you all of a
brings
sudden
up.
spell your name?
They're usually not the ones communicating with you.
No?
The ones that are stuck here are the ones usually communicating with you.
And
Okay,
even if
if
they
you're
were
a
from the
spirit-
1500s, they're thinking it, and it's coming
Right.
through you.
Okay.
So if you were illiterate, then, I mean, you might have an issue.
Well,
You're both screwed.
how would like you
Even
take?
the worst, they're going to usually remember how to spell their name.
What if no? But what if you're taking?
1500s, they would use the X. Remember?
What if you're looking
signature?
at something from an era where the language was different, like Chaucerian Middle English is not. None of us around the table could probably read and understand Chaucerian Middle English, but it's English.
Well,
before
why
The
do you,
letters
before
were
Babel.
different.
why do you think sometimes it comes out really wonky and you go, that doesn't mean anything?
It might be that
Right.
it does to the spirit because they're trying to translate into the modern alphabet.
Exactly.
I mean, looking
You know what's
just
one
in the
thing I've
17.
always wanted to see with one of those boards is 2 or 3 people. They can make it move. They have a connection. But you blindfold all the people that have their fingers on the planchette.
Yes.
And you have a camera above it, and you don't tell them what it's spelling out. You just have them ask the questions and have the thing move and see if that differs from another session maybe, asking the same questions when they can't see. How much of it is coming through the people and how much of it is the people?
If
Well,
you
that's
are
a good
using
point.
it correctly, all of it should be the same.
Absolutely.
I
And
want to see that experiment.
with that, we have to go to our first
Yeah.
break.
All right.
And when we come back, we will carry on.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
I see you break. You're going down.
And welcome back to hour number 2 of our last show for the 24-hour marathon, our last roundtable of the month. And next week, we are doing another roundtable for the month of September. And we'll get scowled at, but we're doing that because our normal roundtable date is going to be our Astral show. That's when Tony's available to do Astral. That will be why.
So when are we doing roundtable?
Next week. For September.
But I'm out of questions.
I
I had enough to last till today.
That sucks for you, man.
All right, Joe, what's your next question?
Oh, me?
Yep.
Well, I just heard a news report that Mammoth Caves, Kentucky, somebody said that they saw Bigfoot, and that whole thing led to shots being fired. The guy claimed that something had come into his camp and destroyed it. He ran through the woods. They were shooting. Some people at another camp he didn't know. He ran into their camp, telling them all about it, and then the new campers, they also heard something in the woods. He fired again, and then the next day they went, and his camp was destroyed. People are shooting. The authorities came in. And it's, how do you feel about shooting at a Bigfoot?
I think it's awful.
Yep.
I would have to say it depends on... It would depend for me. Because if I'm out there and I'm camping with my children and it is extremely aggressive and it's trying to grab one of them, then
different.
yeah, I'm going to shoot him.
Right. And that's different.
For me, I'll answer my own question. I'm going to treat it just like I would a bear.
Yep.
You know, if I'm out there and I see a bear, I'm going to go, hey, look, there's a bear. And I'm going to watch it walk around and do its thing. But if the bear's coming at me with, fangs and claws,
you're going to react.
I'm probably going to lose, but I'm going to shoot.
Yep.
Exactly.
You're going to react.
Exactly.
Somebody going to get hurt, but you ain't going to be the last one.
I want to know what that guy did in the woods before that happened, because for Bigfoot, in my mind, to rip apart his camp,
right? Oh yeah,
he did something.
He did something. Whether he ignored, whether he ignored being warned, whether Bigfoot's got a family and there's kids, there's
right. He might be doing the same exact thing that you're doing. He's protecting his family, and you don't even know it.
Yep. And he was nice about it and only destroyed your camp and not you.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of...
It sounds like he chased the Bigfoot. The Bigfoot wasn't acting aggressive towards him. Yeah, it tore up his camp. But does that give you, okay, it tore up your camp. What the hell were you doing? That would be my answer to that. Now, if Bigfoot's coming at you with intent to harm, then yeah, I'm going to shoot. I'm going to hate it.
Lights on.
But I'm going to shoot. Mm-hmm. And that's the only time. You asked that, and I automatically thought of, hunting Bigfoot, which that show didn't last long.
No, but I mean...
Those guys were a joke.
Right.
I've been camping so many times it's ridiculous, and we've had everything from coyotes to a bear come through our area, and...
They were attacked.
For the most part, you leave them alone, they leave you alone. It's not a big deal that a wild animal is coming through the wild. And I'm not going to go chasing after them and try to shoot them.
You're the trespasser, right?
Unless it's like hunting season and I'm going out there specifically to bag what came through there. Then, hey, I'm going to go and shoot it.
So stupid around wild animals, though, like they are in Yellowstone sometimes.
Oh, putting an 8-year-old on a buffalo to take a picture? Yeah. Stupid people.
My favorite one was, so I used to live in Banff, Alberta, and there's an area called the Minnewanka Loop, and it's visited quite often by bighorn sheep, and this Asian couple got out of their car to go pet them. The guy, the bighorn pinned him between the car and then just sat there, and he did like 2-inch rams and just destroyed him.
Wasn't there a video last week making the rounds on the internet about a bunch of tourists and they went out to pet a buffalo?
That's what I said. Let your 8-year-old pit on the buffalo.
You get what you ask for. And just like the dumbasses that go through Yellowstone National Park and pull up to the bear and stick their hand out the window to give them a sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to rip your arm off. And you got what you asked for.
The meat doesn't end at the sandwich.
No, he's going to rip your arm off and say, "Oh, thank you, it's ham and cheese."
It'd be a whole new meaning to boo-boo.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Are you saying it's not a good idea to feed the wild animals? Because for some reason there's carrots all over my yard.
Well, that's but that's your home.
Like somebody got down here with a huge bag of carrots and threw them all over the place.
Joe, you need a sign that says these carrots are for human consumption only. Any animals caught eating them will be shot on sight.
Right.
Or stabbed with a pointy stick.
But feeding them at your house, which though I don't do, but some people do. You're feeding, you're treating them like they're your pets at your house. That's different than going to the Yellowstone National Park and playing with the wild animals there, who are already tame to an extent because so many dumbasses, talking monkeys, go out and feed them.
Joe, I also
Right.
think that the big difference here is you are feeding them something that they would naturally find in nature.
Right.
Yeah.
When you stick a piece of bologna out there with the preservatives and crap that's in that, that's a little bit different.
Yeah, and the thing is, they come by anyway. I'm not luring them or anything.
No.
They're just
Right.
They're out here every night.
Right.
In fact, I think I could see one sitting over there on the side. Yeah, I can.
And they're already used to you because you live there. You're mutually cohabitating, pretty much. You're just inside your house, inside the bunker.
We're sharing the spot.
Yep, absolutely.
My
That's
mom
different.
used to feed the deer at their place in the mountains, and those damn deer got so used to it that they would actually come up to the back porch looking for, like, where's the corn?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they would have walked right up to her. It was like watching St. Francis of Assisi with the animals. The squirrels, the birds, and the deer all would flock up to Mom when she was out there filling the feeders and tossing out the deer corn and everything.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So, Francie, what's your next question?
Okay. Let's see. Do you think it's possible for a human being to sell their soul or their consciousness or whatever you want to call it to an entity or to the devil? Because Robert Johnson did it.
Robert Johnson did something. He went from being a mediocre to poor guitar player. He disappeared for a year, and he came back the master of the blues.
Right.
And there's that whole devil at the crossroads thing for him.
Right. And he died when he was 27.
You want me to say it?
Oh, there's a bunch of them that have died at 27. There's like a 27 club. Jimi Hendrix, Robert Johnson, Jim Morrison, Buddy Holly, Janis Joplin, Amy Winehouse. Wasn't Kurt Cobain part of the 27 Club?
Okay, I'm going to burst this little bubble here because so I don't believe it's possible because I don't think you can sell something that doesn't belong to you.
So I'm going to disagree with that part because I do believe your soul belongs to you, but I don't believe you can sell it.
Why would the devil buy something that he can get for free for the most part?
Right.
I mean, you know.
What?
Yeah, at this point, he's probably getting most of
What
them.
about contracts, though? Like,
you can so
attachments and contracts with familial lines for aliens and
right.
Yeah, but I don't believe in that to begin with.
I do. It's rare. And with that, you are delving a little more into the new agey channeling stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have, there have been cases where, I don't know, I walk a fence on that one too. Your soul is yours. you reincarnate with that same soul. Picture the soul's a battery. It's energy. It can't be destroyed. It can't be altered or changed. We talked about that earlier in another show.
But it can
But
only be converted to matter and back and forth.
right.
Okay, I do not talk about my religion very much. I don't know that I've ever actually talked about it on here. I think everybody else has said what they are. But,
Flat earther religion?
I am not a flat earther, okay? I would be considered agnostic. Okay, so I do believe that there is some form of higher power, higher being, but I do not know what he, she, it, or whatever it is. So I do believe that there is some form of creation. There's also some form of evolution. But I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's in one of the books, or if it's a Bible story, or if it's just Mother Earth herself. I'm not sure. But I know that there's something out there that made us who we are. Okay? That gave us the breath of life. I guess you'd put it that way. So, with that, you were bestowed a soul, a consciousness, whatever you want to call your own essence.
Right.
Okay? That was a gift that you were given. It is not something that can be re-given.
It's not a commodity.
It is yours till your expiration date.
Do you believe in reincarnation? Is that part of your belief system?
I do believe that there is reincarnation, but I do believe that it's your choice whether or not you want to go into what I would call the cosmic consciousness, or whether or not you want to be put within another vessel.
I've always thought maybe
I
we
think
do
you
this.
I agree with that.
I think we do these little forays into material because we get bored in eternity. It's like, okay, this,
So you just take off every once in a while?
Yeah, it's like this is that having this human material existence is a way to break up the monotony of eternity. Because I don't care what it is, if you're doing it forever and ever and ever and ever, forever.
Yes, but see, the problem is that at this point, you're thinking of that in a corporeal body. If you were a non-corporeal being, who knows how you would feel about unlimited amounts of knowledge?
But that's just it. You don't have to work for it.
Unlimited knowledge.
Well, I say you do because I believe that when you expire, your consciousness goes into what would be considered a cosmic consciousness. Every consciousness of everyone who has ever lived, except for the fact if you decide to go into another corporeal body, that's where you will go.
So I had a really extensive discussion with a spirit. And I've talked about this briefly in, I don't know, a long time ago. It's been a while. And it was in Germany. And it was explained to me this way. Because he was a World War II bomber pilot. He said, when you die, so and this doesn't count the spirits that are stuck. He wasn't stuck. He made the choice. He liked going down to the German bakery and haunting it. That's what he did. But he said when he's ready, he goes over and basically gets in line if he wants. Or he could just stay up there. Kind of like what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
When he's ready and he wants to be reborn into another life here, he gets in line. And he waits for another baby to be born. It's that simple. Or he can just stay up there with his family, his friends, whoever, if he knows anyone up there. But I've heard a flip side to that too, where once you cross over, you don't know anybody. Your mind is erased, essentially. I don't know if I believe that, because you've got too many that, I can't wait till I see Joe. Sorry, I'm just using that as an example.
No one can wait to see me.
But they can't wait to be with their family. Their family's waiting. that kind of thing. And that's been seen through astral. That yes, they do have family waiting. And in some cases, we've actually used the family on the other side to help get the spirit crossed over. Mm-hmm. Because once they see the family, they are more willing to cross over. Mm-hmm.
Well,
so
yeah, go ahead.
Well, just with that, yes. And that's why we don't believe that everyone needs to be crossed over. Because why? If they're not causing a problem, for example, in a client's home, there's no reason to cross them over. Mm-hmm. And we always use the example of the kid in the hub here in Concrete at the bar. He's 22, died in 1900s, doesn't want to cross over. He's not causing problems. In fact, he's protecting the hub. And he's having the time of his life as a spirit. Why would you cross him over? There's no reason to.
No harm, no foul.
Right.
So back to my question. Here's another sidebar.
Mm-hmm.
Can a human being work with an entity to gain power, prestige? I mean, like, that's why you would sell your soul to the devil, is because you're going to get something out of it, right?
Absolutely.
Like, you're going to play the guitar amazingly, or...
It happens all the time with cults, or with the occult, and conjuring of spirits, or conjuring of demons. And yes, there is a sort of contract or agreement that's made. Is it selling your soul? No. Mm-hmm. There's other things they want. There's other things they want. And there's other agreements that can be made. But do they want your soul? No, they don't. Generally speaking, no.
I would say, if anything, they're hungry. And they want to feed off of your energy.
Is a soul eternal? Can a soul be consumed?
What is that company that'll give you something for selling your soul? It's like beer or something.
Well, you can get all kinds of stuff for signing a paper that sells your soul.
I saw that.
Mm-hmm. But that's a hard one for me. Because, again, I personally don't believe that anything is eternal. I believe that every single thing has a beginning and has an end. So, your lifespan, or your consciousness's lifespan, could be way longer than we can even fathom. But everything has to come to an end.
But reincarnation...
So you think when the universe does its reset...
When it recycles, so do we. From knowledge zero.
But with reincarnation, there is no end.
There would be if there was nothing to reincarnate into. What I'm talking about is when it's like a global reset.
Do you see it as a linear line instead of a wheel?
That's one of the problems I have with reincarnation, is people seem to go from past to present, but I don't think the arch of time exists.
I don't
once you get past this.
I don't believe in reincarnating into the past. The past is done. The past is complete. You're only reincarnating into the future. That's my opinion.
No, you can't go backwards.
Oh.
Because that's already done.
The past is
lived.
already done. That's why it can't be altered.
But I'm saying time doesn't exist outside.
What if it's all simultaneous and there isn't a start or a finish?
A lot of physicists are
that could be what some people believe. Me personally, I don't. Mm-hmm. I like I said, I believe that everything has a beginning and everything has an end. I don't believe that matter... okay, how do I put that?
I believe you matter.
So, I believe in cosmic recycling. So basically, the universe expands until it reaches its end of expansion, and then it goes the opposite way.
The big crunch.
And what it does is it crushes, and it crushes to the point where there's so much gas and so much everything all in this one tiny little thing, it explodes back into a new universe. A restarted universe from the beginning of time with zero knowledge, zero life. And it builds just like it did in the beginning.
Do you think the energy that we are gets
is what
recycled?
causes the original bang, the beginning of the universe?
But if you have multiple universes, there's really would be no. If you have an infinite amount of universes spreading out, there wouldn't necessarily be an end point. Because maybe this universe right here collapses. But
all
you've
of them
already,
will
you're in another
simultaneously
one.
collapse because everything is happening at the simultaneous amount of time. Okay, so even if you are in universe B and we are in universe A, right? Well, the only thing that put you in universe B versus universe A for the multiverse theory is the fact that you made this decision instead of that decision. Well, you'd still be at the same point in existence on both universes going down the same simultaneous path but in different directions. So you'd
But
still
all
reach,
the universes
you'd still
are
reach
expanding
the end
and
of it
contracting.
at the same exact time as you would on this path.
Oh, I think it's way more chaotic than that.
Nah, the universe is too perfect for it to be any more chaotic. Everything is
Fractals
perfect.
are chaotic and purposeful at the same time. I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, I think there are more variations, like ultimate huge quantities of variations.
Well, yes, that's why there would be a different universe for each one of those variations. But it would still come to the same ultimate end and rebirth.
So there was a point in my life one time where I'm driving down the road. I fell asleep behind the wheel, woke up just in time to avoid driving underneath a semi-trailer.
Right, so in this
Well,
universe...
in this universe, I didn't. But there's another universe where I didn't wake up.
And there's another universe where you never went to sleep in the first place.
And Izzy says, assuming you only believe in life on other planets, assuming you believe in life on other planets, do you believe you can only reincarnate on this planet?
No, it's anywhere within...
No.
Anywhere within the universes, anywhere within the multiverses.
I don't think you necessarily...
I'm coming back as a moon rock.
I want to be a Martian ant.
I don't want to have a
Your
body.
head's going to explode.
Okay, then you would be a non-corporeal being.
I'm wondering, though, if maybe we miss... there's certain pleasures that go with having a corporeal body. A good meal, good sex, enjoying a sunset with friends, sitting around a campfire at night.
Right.
Maybe we come down here because when we're non-corporeal, we don't have the sex, the meals, the camaraderie. We don't have those kind of pleasures.
It is a possibility, but you don't know what a non-corporeal being...
That's not pleasure.
...would do...
What?
Sleep is pleasure. That's
sleep
because
is
you've
the
always seen yourself, you've always felt yourself in your body. So you don't know what it would be like to be without. It might be a totally different type of pleasure that is more enjoyable than being in the human body.
Well, I have to admit, the time that I had this weird... It started out with getting obliterated with by a tidal wave. And then...
For real?
It was, and it wasn't like your standard dream. It was like actually being there. I was...
Like you felt it.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, when the debris hit me in the tidal wave, it was many thousands of years ago. I'm walking along a quay, and I look, and I notice that the water where the boats would be is gone. There was like a structure with arches, stone structure with arches. The water was gone. I thought, what the hell? And I looked up, and there's this wall of water, and I had no chance to do anything but And then the debris hit me. I felt this wet warm, splattery feeling, and then I went into this other existence. And the coolest thing was, I ended up being some kind of, I don't know, bat-like creature. I was invisible to the people. There were people, I was like hanging out in this fabricating shop, a big like factory, and I had, instead of fingers, I had these really awesome black claws. And I was so proud of those. It's like, damn, these are the coolest things, because they were like hooks, and I could hang from the rafters of this place. I could walk around. I could fly. And it was like,
Now, are you sure
I
it was
enjoyed being whatever that creature was. I got a kick out of it.
Now, are you sure it was a bat? Because you said you had an affinity for crows for some reason.
Well, no, this wasn't. No, I wasn't a crow. I mean, it was. I was more of a humanoid bat-like creature.
Were you like a fruit bat?
Kind of, but not.
Felt like huge.
But I didn't hang by my feet. Like I said, the end of where my hands are now, I had just these two very heavy, almost like sloth claws, but they were black and they were sharp and they were, it was like, I was fascinated. You would think as a guitar player I'd be mortified by the fact that I didn't have fingers anymore. But I was just really taken by these hook-like claws, and I could just like flutter up to the roof of this place, hang off the metal rafters and watch what was going on around me. I could flutter down and walk around, watch what people were doing, and every once in a while somebody would look at me like they knew they were being watched. I've never had an experience like that in a dream since, but that was, that's one of those, and it was a thrill being, whatever that creature was, I totally enjoyed being it. I wasn't freaked out or not.
Maybe it was a regression to a past life, a dream about a past life.
I think that the part where I got hit by that, I think it was the part where the tidal wave hit me was, it kind of makes me wonder if I wasn't, I don't know, tidal waves happen all over the place. I mean, I'm not going to say Atlantis, but it seemed like it was a Greek-like culture. I mean, my what I was dressed in would be more like a toga than, I wasn't dressed in, like street clothes. I was dressed in more like a caftan type of thing. And I could feel the stone under my feet. Like I said, I could feel the water, the impact of the water, and that's tumbling me around. But then the debris, the rocks, and the crap that were in that water are what obliterated my body, and I felt myself being obliterated. And then went into this other existence. Went into, I was flying, and then, I kind of settled in that factory, and that's where I started admiring my claws and enjoying this. I thought, my God, those are the coolest. I was very proud of these claws.
You were living your best life, weren't you?
I think so, because I could,
get Markham for Christmas now.
The claw!
A claw sharpener. But yeah, and I've never had an experience like that since. But it wasn't it didn't have that dreamlike quality where everything kind of chaotic. Between getting obliterated and being the little flying creature, there was sort of a transitional thing that kind of made sense in a way, but then I went completely into that clawed whatever it was, and that was like literally being that, it was like in the Once and Future King, where Merlin makes Arthur experience life as a duck. Life as, these different creatures. I was experiencing what it was to be that creature. And loving it. If I get reincarnated back into that form, I'm going to be happier than a pig in slop.
Nice.
Pig in slop.
All right, well, you know what? That actually brings me to my first question. And I think you just answered yours, but if you could choose what you want, what you could be reincarnated into, if you could choose anything, what would you pick?
That creature.
Right.
I mean, I was happier in that form than I think I've ever been in any other form. Whether it was the novelty of it, not being able to fly as a human, but now all of a sudden I can fly, and now I can't fly. I can be invisible. Mm-hmm. And one of the weird features is if I would hang, I would rock. I would swing. I could hang there just so long before I would just start swinging. It was like something in this reality or didn't want me just hanging from the rafters. I would rock back and forth like a cradle until I had to let go and move. I couldn't just be stationary because I think if I could have, because it was very comfortable to hang like that. There was no strain or anything. It was like, man, I could do this all day, and I wasn't allowed to.
Anything? You said anything, right?
Yep.
Skynet.
Oh my God.
An artificial intelligence?
No, like the Skynet. I'm taking over.
The Skynet.
Yeah. Bigfoot.
My dad always wanted to come back as a grizzly bear. I said, well, what about the bad broken teeth? He said, I got bad broken teeth now. It's like, yeah, Dad wanted to come back as a grizzly bear. I hope he did.
Man, Bigfoot.
You'd come back as a Bigfoot?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess you could answer all your own questions.
Male eagle.
Mm-hmm.
So you would not only come back as a flying bird, but you'd come back as a separated sex as well?
Yeah, because I've watched him, and the male like directs everything. He's like on top of the family,
Mm-hmm.
And they mate for life, and they travel from Alaska to Idaho in the summertime, and they eat salmon.
Well,
and
unfortunately, they're on that endangered list, so you wouldn't get shot either.
No, you just have to worry about getting hit by windmills.
Yeah,
I guess I have a bad connection. I thought you said you wanted to come back as a male ego. And I said, I was trying to wrap my head around that, and then you were saying flying and then eating salmon. I was like, oh, an eagle.
A flying eagle. Yeah.
That's too funny.
No, I want to come back as that little goblin creature I was. Because that was just too cool.
What would you come back as?
Oh, I said
you
Bigfoot.
did. You said
Bigfoot.
you were going to be a Bigfoot.
Yeah, I'll come back as Bigfoot.
Nice.
I don't know. That would be...
Stay
I guess that would be fun. Yeah,
Stay
Faye,
hidden all
yeah. I guess if I couldn't come back
I'm
as...
halfway there.
And see, I
live up in the mountains, no one around. You can hear people coming and make your way, go the other way, and
right. I
just
live
do your
behind
thing all day long, and no one bothers you. Hell, the people don't even know you exist, so they wouldn't bother you.
I live behind Joe's bunker.
Yeah.
Throwing rocks at him.
I'd throw rocks at Joe.
Throw his rocks at his porch.
I'd hang from the rafters at Joe's carport.
Yeah.
I would
throw
come
the
back.
rocks at whoever gets my bunker.
Maybe there's
Right.
some kind of betting game going on.
I'd come back as a sprite.
Oh, how
Right.
can you get a rock closest without hitting him?
Yeah. Some pebbles.
I wonder. A sprite? I don't know.
I'd come back as a sprite. I think that'd be cool.
I think
it'd have to be a water sprite because I love the water. But yeah,
that was I think it was like a type of goblin. In my experience, it was. I identified myself as a goblin.
Well, have you ever seen that movie Anastasia? No, it's like a little cartoon movie, and it's got the bat. That's all I could think of when you were saying that, was the little bat from Anastasia.
I wasn't a bat because I could walk bipedally just as well as I could. Yeah, it wasn't being a bat.
Maybe you were a gargoyle.
Possibly.
That actually makes the most
gargoyle.
sense based on that description.
But yeah, I was completely. I was loving
Could
it.
it be that Eric enjoyed being a demon that time?
I might have. I tend to have sort of,
skewed thought process.
I don't know. Whatever it was, I was extremely happy with everything about it. And like I said, I can't really articulate how fascinated and proud I was of those claws. They were just amazing. It's like little black hooked claws.
See, that's why I would probably, I would assume gargoyle, because if you're talking about swaying in the wind and everything else, well...
That was weird, because like if I hung...
So if you stood still for long enough, you'd turn to stone based on gargoyle art. So therefore you would be swaying in the wind as a stone statue.
But there wasn't really wind. It was just like... Sometimes like when I astral project, I get that rocking sensation, and it was very akin to that.
Interesting.
It was a very unique experience, and I would come back as that little guy. I think I was as I remember, I think I thought of myself as a goblin.
Sadly, the only reoccurring dream that felt real like that to me, and I turned into a damn fruit fly. So I
what if you're a fruit fly having a dream of being a human?
That is not all you turned into.
Okay, it's not all I do. Okay, so I have this reoccurring dream. I've had it since I was a little kid. It is the weirdest shit you've ever heard. Okay, but I am standing on a high dive, and I jump off of this high dive, and the pool that I'm jumping into turns into one of those giant Jello molds. Okay, I get sucked into the Jello mold, and I become this piece of fruit in the Jello mold. And then I become a fruit fly, and I fly out of the Jello mold. Cool. And then I wake up.
I have a weird recurring dream where I buy a house, and I find a section of it, and it's just full of, like, the previous tenants. It wasn't part of the deal. I just, all of a sudden, it's like, holy crap, look at all this stuff.
That's kind of cool.
And then there's a similar one where I've got this house and I find this panel in the staircase. I remove the panel. Well, there's a stone staircase that goes underground in this place, and there's this labyrinth under the house. And I explore the labyrinth. And I have that probably 2-3 times a year. A variation of those two dreams. The last time I had the one where I went into this place that was, before it was just like all this stuff was there. The last time I went, they were like rehabilitating it or restoring the place, and all the stuff that had been there was gone.
All right, Cole, what's your next question?
All right. Does the entire universe exist in the third dimension, or are there parts that only exist in other dimensions?
That's a tough one to answer.
I would say there are parts that only exist in other dimensions.
Only the third, second, and first dimension parts are here. Fourth dimension, that's something else.
Maybe we can't perceive they're here, but we can't perceive them. Because you look
we
at
don't know about it.
Then we're not in that vibrational frequency to actually.
We can perceive two-dimensional, and we can perceive one-dimensional, which a dot. But we can't wrap our head around 4th, 5th, 6th, 12th, however many there might be.
24th. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
I think they up to string theory allows for up to 11 dimensions.
Actually, string theory technically, if you allows up to 12.
12.
Yeah.
What gets me is you think of two-dimensional, where you have length and width but not depth.
No, it's two-dimensional art.
Well, no, there's actually somebody wrote I forgot, it was Farmer. Somebody actually wrote a book called Flatlanders, and these people existed in two-dimensional space.
Right.
I read that.
Well,
that'd be kind of weird not to I mean, you think of yourself as standing up, but you're not standing up because there's no axis for you to stand up in.
I believe that that's what a black hole is 2D space.
I don't know. I almost wonder if with a black hole you don't get down to one because it compresses everything. I don't know. Our understanding of black holes has evolved. You know, it was said that nothing escaped, and then apparently there's something called Hawking
particles
radiation that does, and that black holes can eventually evaporate. So
that would be going from what we would consider 3D space into 2D space, into 1D space, and then into nothingness.
Isn't there a theory that most galaxies have a black hole dead center in the middle of them, and that's why the galaxies are there?
Yeah.
They're all rotating around a black hole.
Yeah, we have one in the center of the...
Well, and that goes with what my basic theory there was too, is that eventually we're all going to get sucked into this. We're going to be compressed to the point where there's nothing to do except for the fact that we would have to explode back into our own universes.
What is it, the Hindu faith that believes that the universe is on a cyclical expansion, contraction, contraction?
Yeah.
Maybe black holes are the agent that makes that possible. But then again, if they can't evaporate, that kind of takes that theory out the window. Something's causing the universe to expand at an accelerated rate.
Right, and then eventually it's going to end.
Yeah, the big chill. Everything's going to get so far apart that it doesn't. That you know, there's no entropy. It's kind of weird to think about.
Has CERN done anything? Like, could I have a tiny black hole in my living room and not know it?
Oh, I think that you would know it.
Well, they say that the theory is though that once you pass the event horizon of the black hole, time no longer flows. You're almost like in this eternity that from the outside you would look like, from an observer on the outside would see you being pulled apart, but that actually if you're there, that's not what's happening. That's not what you're perceiving.
Cosmic torture chamber.
And didn't CERN just have someone come up missing?
Oh, CERN has had so much crazy shit happen. Okay, alright, I'm going to bring up something that I have to ask other people. Okay? So, snow. Okay? Do you get snow where you're at, Joe? You get a little bit of snow.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because you're by Tahoe. Okay.
I'm right near Donner Pass, so yeah, we get snow.
Okay. Has anybody noticed how freaking weird the snow is? Okay, it doesn't feel like normal snow. Okay, so for the last couple of years, there has been a massive amount of snow that's landed here. Okay, but it doesn't crush like normal snow.
It doesn't melt.
And it doesn't melt. And we put a piece on the fire, and it took it over 20 minutes to melt snow.
Could it be all that shit they're pumping into the atmosphere?
That's what I'm wondering, is if it's some kind of
the nuclei
weather manipulation, so it's not real snow, it's like this weird fake snow.
Oh, yeah.
Because, seriously, we put some on the fire because I was like, this is the weirdest crap ever. Got this piece of it, and we stuck it on the fire. And not like, we didn't make like a big old snowball that would take that long to, it was lifting up a little bit, throwing it on top of some sticks that were on there. And it took over 20 minutes for that damn shit to melt, and it stank.
So I'm to the east of you, and my snow has been normal for the last 2 years.
Yeah,
Try
I haven't
putting it on
noticed
a fire.
anything strange, but
No, I've been out in it. I I haven't like melted it, but I've worked with it enough to know that it's the same shit that I always have to work with.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I thought that was super bizarre because I was like, hell no, what is that?
It is bizarre. It's crazy.
We'll have to check that
Well,
out
there's
this
lots
winter.
of chemicals in the atmosphere
Absolutely.
due to man and also nature. And it could be that they're combining together to make something just a little more resilient than regular old snow.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You got the crap from Fukushima up in the air. You've
Yeah,
got
Fukushima.
industrial pollution. You've got what they're pumping out in the chemtrails. If you
I
believe
guess
in the
so. You've got all that together and you're going to have some weird-ass fake snow.
I don't know. I've never... Being in North Carolina where I've been so long, I mean, we get snow, but it doesn't last very long. You have, asshole deep on a giraffe on
Seriously,
Monday.
though. So the
back
next time...
gone by Thursday.
So the next time that it snows, just look at it. Go out there and, like, play with it and look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, there's something wrong with that damn snow.
It's probably all the crap that's in it.
You're just
not
going by
pure.
Thursday?
Huh?
You're
Right.
just going by Thursday? You're just only there for a few days?
Yeah, it'll...
Oh,
well, in North
Ours-
Carolina, you'll go from being 24 with snow on the ground to 70, sun shining, and the snow's gone in
we don't
like
get that.
a week.
No, we've got ours for 2 months. 2 clear snow.
Well, that's the way it was. That's the way it was in Michigan. You got... It's got asshole deep on a giraffe, and it stayed that way till May.
Right.
April or May.
It also, though, doesn't tell you when it's going to show up here, so it might be April.
Yeah, no, it
Who the
could be
hell
any
knows?
time during the
Easter.
year. It was Easter
One
this
thing
year,
that I
yeah.
have noticed about the snow these last couple of years is that people seem to have forgotten how to drive in it.
Oh, yeah.
It used to be, it snows, there's going to be a few fender benders there. The last couple of years, I've got a scanner here, and it is just nonstop. No one knows how to drive in the snow anymore, and it's nothing new.
That seems to be a reoccurring issue.
honestly,
It's like
Joe,
it's like
How long
that
have I been
yearly
here?
insomnia.
How long have I been here?
You? We lived in Canada for 1, 2, 3. So you've been here for 9 years?
So for 9 years, people haven't known how to drive in the snow.
No.
I think the problem was the
damn.
problem I had is I had a very, very capable 4-wheel drive vehicle, and it drove so well on snow and ice that
Right.
I would get too complacent.
Okay, I have never been scared ever getting in a vehicle with him driving in the snow. Shit, we did it every day in Canada for 6 freaking months at a time. No problem, right? I'm not scared of his driving. I'm scared of the other dumbasses on the road driving.
Exactly.
Because none of them seem to know that you can't slam on your goddamn brakes and ride somebody's ass this tight when it's snowing out.
Yeah, I used to run into that when I lived in Tennessee. There was one night going into Vanderbilt that, I think maybe the max speed I got was 25. And some idiot went flying down the median. Well, about 10 minutes later, traffic got up to where this guy was upside down in the ditch between lanes on 65. It's like, well, dumbass. They don't know how to drive in rain either.
Nope.
Those are pretty good, eh? I like those ones.
Okay.
Okay.
So, are we going to break or are we going to another question?
Marco,
Yeah.
what's your second question?
Do you think with the research and the breakthroughs that we're... Actually, that kind of came up in a previous show. Let me read.
Don't matter.
Well, I'm just wondering how many secrets of the universe are about to be divulged because we're advancing in the fields of quantum physics.
One.
We're getting
The
more.
field of quantum physics?
We're wrong.
Oh.
I honestly believe that. Our
Okay.
entire thought process on quantum physics, we got it all wrong.
I don't think we're equipped. I don't think we're approaching it the right direction because it's all science and no consciousness. And I don't think that realm. I don't think you can actually just explore it scientifically. I think there's got to be more of a spiritual aspect to it because that crap don't act like it's supposed to.
I don't think
So
that
you know that show Big Bang Theory?
Yeah, I loved it.
For all throughout it, they followed actual scientific proof. All of their theories and everything they were working on was real, except for the last one. The last one that him and Sheldon and what's his girlfriend's name?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
It was Amy
yeah.
Fairfowler.
Yes.
There.
Yeah.
That Sheldon and Amy came up with and they won the Nobel Prize for. That was not real. What I honestly believe is going to happen is whatever higher power we have on this earth is not going to be satisfied with that, and that's going to be quantum physics. He's going to make it the actual solution.
That would be so cool. No,
I can tell you that. So this is a field that I'm like super into because I'm again that weird person. Okay, so back in 2012, they made a massive breakthrough in quantum physics by figuring out the Higgs boson field. Okay, they've been working on this since
God particle.
the goddamn beginning of time. Okay, and this was supposed to be the answer. This was supposed to be everything we needed to know. And we've been working on this damn thing for over 100 years. Nothing but working on this damn thing for over 100 years. This came out in 2012. What have we done since? We haven't.
Nope.
What kind of scientific breakthroughs have we made because of this?
The Higgs boson was an answer, but it brought up a whole bunch of other questions.
Exactly.
I kind of like the Nassim Harriman, and his theory is that the bigger a collider you build, if you build bigger and bigger colliders, you're going to find smaller and smaller particles until you finally get to the very bottom of it all, and it's a black hole. It's a quantum singularity at the bottom of everything.
And, dude, well, we have theoretical physicists, we have actual fucking engineers and physicists, and all of these brilliant-ass people working on the same damn theory, which is the theory of everything. That's what everybody wants to figure out.
Theory.
Everybody wants to figure out a unified theory that explains everything.
And you can't we're missing a key component, and that's consciousness.
Well,
They don't figure that in.
The problem with trying to find a unified theory for everything
We don't know
is there is
everything.
absolutely nothing in this entire universe that is unified.
Well, look at the evolution of what became, chemistry, a hard science, came from alchemy, which is considered metaphysics. There's this point where spiritualism and science went hand in hand, and then they split off.
And went in two separated directions.
And that left the whole thing, metaphysics, sitting there in the middle. And I think the only way we're going to answer some of these questions is we're going to have to bring the consciousness and the spiritual into the scientific to answer, because there's things in the spiritual that and the consciousness realm that aren't, they're answers. They're there. We see them, but they're not scientifically valid because science is not a tool that can explore it.
So, in my personal opinion, just my personal opinion, this isn't going to happen for a long damn time.
No.
Okay, we're talking thousands of years. We are talking, this is out of our lifetime. This is out of my kids' lifetime and their kids' lifetime. Okay? Because the problem is that just like science, just like the paranormal, You can't even agree amongst yourselves. And you see so black and white that you are not willing to open up your mind to other possibilities and other ideas. And until we can get to a point in our lives and in our evolution where we can actually take pieces from each side and merge them, we are never going to understand who, what, where, why, any of the questions that everybody wants to know.
And with that truth bomb, we are going to go to our last break of 24 hours.
By the way, it's 42.
Until they answered everything.
No, it's 24. Anyways, here we go, guys. We will be back in 3 minutes.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
Welcome back to S-4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
And welcome back to the last hour of the 24-hour marathon. So make sure you go back and listen to the last 24 hours, the last 8 shows, and find the secret words. There's 5 of them. And if you send the 5 secret words to S4radiowinner@gmail.com, all one word. The first 5 people to submit to that email, all 5 secret words, will win a prize. Oh, so where are we?
Keep going.
Who is up? Who is
None of us.
Oh, you know, shit up. So, Kayla, you got your second question?
Dude, I have been talking.
Okay,
I don't even know.
Well, how about the one I did on break?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. We spent all this money on Martian rovers.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of setting them down in an area where there's structures or something to see, we planted the friggin' things in the middle of the Martian desert. Why? Why in the hell would you choose nothing over an area that at least had some kind of geography to it?
They were checking to see if there was oil.
Free parking.
Parking?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's expensive on the other side.
I still think, so you said they're sitting a drone up, right?
They won't show anything.
The drone's going to crash.
Something's going to happen, yeah.
Drone's going to crash.
As I was saying during the break, I think we're going to find that there was a civilization. I think there was a human civilization there. Whether it was an outpost from Earth or we started on Mars and went to Earth. Anyhow, I think that they're trying to keep that. That would be paradigm shifting. It's like, oh my God, we were here before.
Who's setting it up? The government or private contractor?
I think it's NASA.
Well, you'll never get any true information. Never a straight answer. That's what NASA stands for.
Mm-hmm. So if it's NASA, yeah, we ain't supposed to be up there.
Mm-hmm.
So you ain't gonna get nothing out of it.
Do you think there's aliens up there that are going to tell us we're not supposed to?
I think we honestly
they told us to get off the moon.
Yep, I think it's already inhabited. We were told a long time ago, get the hell off. I do.
So they're tolerating.
Maybe that's why they're allowing us to land out in the middle of the desert where there's nothing to see. And we've been told, don't go here, don't go here, don't go to Sedona.
Well, I'm going to sound like a dumbass, but how do we even know we're going to the moon or to Mars? How do we know it's not all? And so I want to clarify. I do believe we landed on the moon. There's conspiracy theories that we didn't land there. It was all fake. I do think
it costs more to fake it than to do it.
Yeah, but I do think the Mars landings are staged. There's enough red sand here on Earth to stage that kind of landing. Because I do think we were told not to go to Mars a long time ago, years ago. How many different flybys did they do where they're either malfunctioned or they crashed?
Well, the Russians haven't been able to get near it. They've sent like 17 probes up, and every one of them disappears.
Yeah.
Well, there's also that monolith on Phobos. Mm-hmm. One of the Martian moons has some kind of weird monolith on it.
Right. So yeah, I don't think we're going to land there. Just my thoughts. My delirious thoughts.
Yeah, there's just something weird about that there's this area called Sedona that everybody's curious about, and if you were going to send a probe there, why wouldn't you send it to the place of interest? No, we sit down in the middle of this barren wasteland, and oh gee, there's rocks. Oh gee, there's bullcrap.
Yep.
Set the damn thing over there. Is that really a pyramid? Is that really a face on Mars? Go to the area where there's some kind of structure to investigate. That would have been worthwhile. But, setting it down in the desert, that's
ridiculous.
Stupid as hell.
Yep.
They might have had no choice.
There's a theory that there was a face on Mars, but then it accidentally got nuked. And now there's not a face on Mars.
Yeah, well, I remember when Art Bell was still alive, he did a show about that. When the high definition pictures of the face on Mars, it looked like it had been obliterated.
Yeah,
looked like a cat.
It didn't look anything like the original photo.
No, it looked like a cat box, a litter box.
So, is that what the Mandela effect is to keep us from the real truth? Everybody just says, hey, guess what? It never actually happened. Don't worry about it.
That way anyway.
Well, I've had my own. I fully believe, and I would pass a lie detector test on this because I am convinced that the timeline I am in, the reality I am in right now, is not the one I started in.
I agree. I agree for myself. I agree.
Okay, because
Totally.
and I always bring this up. When I was a kid watching reruns of Star Trek, there was an episode, I think it's called The Infinity Factor, or anyhow, there's this guy, he's, his name is Lazarus, and he exists as this calm, rational, and then this maniac. When I was a kid, that would come on, and in the credits, that character Lazarus was played by the actor Rip Torn.
Yeah.
In this reality,
I remember that episode.
Me too.
And I used to, because every time that episode would come on, I would try to get my parents in on what I perceived as the joke, the name Rip Torn. Holy crap, it's a joke. Ha ha, Rip Torn. And they didn't get it. So every time they came on, I would try to bring them in, try to make them understand why I thought that was funny. That character is played by David Brown. If you look that episode up, Alternative Factor is what it's called. You look that up, the actor's name is Richard or David Brown, something like that. His last name. It's not Rip Torn. But I clearly remember it because every time it came on, I would make note of that guy's funny name. And of course, the local UHF, VHF channel, they only had about 10 episodes of Star Trek, and they showed the same 10 over and over and over again. You got to where you knew what episode it was going to be by, as soon as it popped, the credits were over. But every time that part would come up, I had made note of that funny name for that actor. And that is not who, in this reality, in the last 3 I think I've trekked through, that it's not Rip Torn.
I can tell you, I don't believe I'm in the first reality that I started in, and I don't believe I'm done moving into different realities that I'm not in.
You're not really here.
No, I honestly think that I've probably been through...
Alright, I'm going to bed, guys.
At least 5, if not more. Because there are very specific things that I remember that are just not there, or never happened,
have you
or
had
happened different.
Come back that you had totally forgotten?
Oh God, yeah. A UFO sighting in Cleveland.
Something like tickles a neuron and reminds you of Zoom, and you've got all of this other memories from a long time ago that you had totally forgotten.
Well, I'm actually with friends. I've said, "Hey, remember the time we blah 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 blah?" Then they look at me like, "Huh?" It's like, no, and I'll describe it out, and they're like, "That never happened."
Okay, now my husband can actually back me up on this one. So I'm really awkward, and I have no memories from I was way, way older than I'm supposed to be to not have any memories from that age down. But I have, no memories from the age of, 9 and down. Not a single one. I don't remember jack about that.
You don't remember jack from the last 2 weeks. What you talking about?
That's what I'm talking about. Is the fact that I know a lot of things, and I can see a lot of things, and I go, that's not right, or something's weird, or something's off here. But my memories are completely different from the people that I'm around all of the time. And I say, we didn't have that conversation, or this didn't happen, or I don't remember this happening. And
I don't owe you that $20. What are you talking about?
It is always something different than I remember from even previous weeks from each other. And I mean, I could just be going completely insane, except for the fact that I'm not a stupid person,
or your
and I remember
could
things.
Be gaslighting the shit out of you.
No, because it's not just him. It'll be my mother, my father, my brothers, my sisters, and it'll be things that they say.
They're all in on it.
Well, it's like with Mom and Dad. As many times as I brought that up, they did not know what I was talking about. And I mean,
well, okay. As far as the Mandela effect, it's something. It comes up a lot on this show and others. It's on TV all the time. Who knows? But this is the way I've always thought about it. Isn't the fact that everybody's memories, everybody can find something they think is wrong, or they're in the wrong timeline, or they remember something different. Well, wouldn't that be proof of time travel? Possibly someone coming back from the future, screwing something up. In fact, they even had a Star Trek episode about that. I know Mark was going to jump on that.
Yeah. The one that Harlan Ellison wrote.
And it's just a train wreck with all these little things changing because of something insequential that happened, but it changes everybody's memory. Just like that.
Time travel butterfly effect.
Exactly.
Yes, except for the fact that me personally, and I mean, other people can have totally different ideas than me, but me personally, I don't believe that fixed things can be changed. I don't believe you can go back in time and save someone that was supposed to die at this time, at this place, at this hour. I believe that no matter how many times you go back to this place, this time, this hour, this person is still going to die. It doesn't matter if it's by the train that originally hit them, or they slip and they fall, or they get an aneurysm, or whatever it is. They were supposed to have done that at this time, this hour, this place.
So if you're going to do that, you go do that to someone you hate. Then you get to keep watching them die.
Well, there was a short story written many years ago called Ripples in the Dirac Sea. After, Paul Dirac, the theoretical physicist. Anyway, the guy kept trying to go back and save a dear friend, and the dear friend died every time. So they'd get him out of this situation, and then when he would come back into this time, any changes he made when he came back, he called it the Dirac Sea. Every time he came back through the Dirac Sea, all the changes, there was no change.
See, no, I don't believe I don't believe that there is no change. So just big events. I don't think you can change any.
Can't go back in history and kill Hitler.
But if I were to go back in history and let's say I went back to kill Hitler, well, if I saw him and I accidentally stepped on, I don't know, a spider that I wasn't supposed to have at that point, and that spider happened to be the one that was hanging up in Whatcha-Bud's barn, and she wrote Charlotte's Web because of that. Well, this spider never existed, so Charlotte's Web never was made. So anything that got affected from that point on.
What's Charlotte's Web?
Yeah, sure.
There was I think Twilight Zone, or maybe it was the new, when they revamped Outer Limits, there was an episode where somebody went back to kill the infant Hitler. And they did. Well, the problem is, they took a changeling, and, they weren't going to, because I think Hitler's dad was an aristocrat of some kind. Anyway, they got a foundling and replaced the dead Hitler baby with this changeling, and created the monster that became. Where if they'd left the original Hitler baby alone, he might not have grown up to be such a butthole.
Right. So I do definitely believe that for every action there is an equal reaction. I mean, there has to be.
Natural consequences.
Yes. So if you mess up something, whether it's something big or something small, and it's always going to be something that you wouldn't even think would screw up a timeline.
I think that's what Ray Bradbury did, something called the Sound of Thunder. These people went back in time, and it was like a safari. You go back and shoot a T-Rex or something, or at least somebody stepped on a butterfly, or they killed something they weren't supposed to kill, because they would go back and see that they could go back in time and see that this killing this creature would have no effect on the timeline. But if you stepped off the path,
then it would have this massive effect on.
Yeah, and they came back, and it was like everything was like communism. Now, it was a complete change of the paradigm.
So the other thing that I believe about time travel, though, is I don't think that you can travel outside of the time that you existed, because I think you can only travel through consciousness to your own consciousness.
I don't think you can change the past.
No, I think if you're time traveling,
you get something. I mean, because you would follow the energy.
Right.
No,
I believe that you are able to time travel, but only within the time that you were born to the time that you die, and only within your own body, and only through consciousness.
Well, we're time traveling right now. We're just going in one direction.
Right.
But I think if you
I think I
develop,
stopped, guys.
Time stop.
Mine did.
Yep. Until we wake up.
I don't know. I think if you develop, if you're traveling time, you're actually putting yourself outside of the flow of the chronology of the reality, and you going back and forth. I don't think there's any limitation.
See,
What about the grandfather paradox?
Go back to, I think if you
go back in time, you kill your grandfather. Well, if you did that, you would
How did
never
you go
be
back
born,
in time?
So if you were never born, you wouldn't have been able to go back and kill your grandfather.
But I think
Right,
that's
which is
because you've taken yourself out of the flow of time when you travel.
No, that's why I honestly believe that you are only, like I said, you are only allowed to travel within your own time frame, your own existence, into your own
So
body.
you can't go back and kill Hitler.
No,
You
but
can
I could
go
only
back
go
farther
back
when
to
you
the
were
day
born.
that I was born. And I also believe that we're also
Wasn't
not
that the deal on
allowed
Quantum Leap?
to fix.
He can only go back as far as to where he was born
Yes.
in time.
Well, one of the things also, though, if you got multiple universes, there's going to be a universe where you exist no matter what. So you can travel back in time and kill your grandfather, but you still exist because when you go back, maybe it's not your original timeline. It's not
You just created another parallel universe by doing that.
Right. There's a parallel universe where you went back and killed your grandfather, so it became a reality. And you're still around because you were operating outside of the arch of time to get there.
Right. But like I said before, me personally, my beliefs about consciousness is I cannot put my consciousness into your body. I can't do it because my consciousness was not made for your body. It does not live in your body, and it cannot survive in your body. It can only survive in mine and in a non-corporeal form, and whatever other body, if I choose to go that route, was made for that exact consciousness. It's like trying to stick a floppy disk into a VHS. It
Wait.
doesn't work.
Can't do that. Darn. I always thought the floppy disk was a coffee holder anyway. Oh wait,
Coaster.
that's a CD-ROM. Never mind.
It's that's a mug rack for your
Right.
computer.
Yeah. See?
Kayla, I have heard that you can follow your own familia line, following the theory that you can only travel within your own timeline. Izzy said that.
What if you travel? Let's accept maybe that you can go past your origin point. You go back to the crucifixion of Jesus. Jesus sees you while he's hanging there and says, well, screw this. I'm not going to die for you. If you got to come back in time to see me die in order to believe in me, screw y'all. And he pulls himself off the cross, ascends without the whole Christian thing happening. You could you could monumentally screw some shit up by traveling backwards.
No, because that would be a fixed point.
Well, that would be a whole new religion. A guy on a cross that just disappeared into the sky.
But we wouldn't have the
more stigmata.
Well, if you're a Christian and believe in the Christian theology, Jesus no longer died for your sins. He just said, "Screw y'all."
Right. But, like I said, I don't think you can change anything. You are only a conscious observer of that time. You cannot actually change the outcome of it.
Retro. That's sort of how the.
It
That's
hasn't
sort of how.
happened yet.
Well, that's sort of how the
Anything's
movie.
possible.
That's how the
Anything
movie
in the
Prince of
future would be
Darkness.
free will. And from the point that you traveled, well, that's your own free will at that point.
Well, that sort of retro causality.
Your past you already chose.
Well, no, they explored that. The movie was called Prince of Darkness, and actually they were getting a message back from the future that screwed up the past. That what was happening in the past was because of a future event. It rippled backwards in time. So I think you can affect it either direction.
Maybe. Well, I guess if you think about time as an abstract concept, therefore it doesn't actually exist because it's a man-made concept.
It's a way of getting through what we perceive as reality. Because all of time is happening at once. Past, present, future happens at once. And without time,
right,
or
but
our
then
perception of
your
time...
mind couldn't handle the fact that it would break from that construct. Even if it was to go back into time, your mind couldn't handle it. Your consciousness couldn't handle that.
So does that mean God is insane? The Christian God is insane because he sees past, present, future at the same time?
Well, I'm saying whatever higher being happens to be up there, they're obviously a higher being, which means that they might be able to do it all at the same time. But the way that we are designed, we are not designed that way.
No, we couldn't. I know the average. I don't think there's a human on Earth that
would snap, and maybe that's where things like schizophrenia and stuff do come from. Who
I've
knows?
always wondered: is the schizophrenic somebody who is maybe they're on this reality, but they're also living in this 3 or 4 other realities?
Oh my
at
God.
the same time.
What are we doing now? Joe, ask a question or something.
Okay, so I did home visits with people with schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were out in the community, and we just made sure that they got their meds in them, and, we took them to the grocery store and stuff. And so I was intimately in their lives as a case manager, and, I hauled them around in my car and stuff. And, yes, they are they're at different levels. And I had this one guy that made a multi-dimensional chess game that I did not understand at all, but he played it with his nephew. I mean, they are gifted and bizarrely connected, like weird. One lady thought she had the Supreme Court in her pocket. She walked around with the Supreme Court in her pocket. So, but oddly, they would tell you something and then it would be true. And it would be a connection that, shouldn't have happened. Like, for instance, I had one person in the hospital tell me stuff about my house at home. And there was no way for him to know that. No way. Like stuff about my second floor layout.
Been there, done that.
Is it possible that he was reading your thoughts or your ideas about the place?
Oh, probably.
And he was picking those up rather than, him actually going to your house, or?
No, he didn't. He didn't go to my house.
Like
well, I mean, going to your house astrally or something. Instead of that, he's just picking up from you information.
Oh, maybe. But, I mean, it was weird. No matter what and so that looks like psychic phenomena to me. But then their schizophrenia, like their medications work for them. So there has to be a physical, organic component to it also. And actually research is showing that there is an organic part to it. But I think that there is a psychic one also because of the weird stuff that happens.
Interesting.
Okay, so what do you guys see as a percentage of real paranormal cases or real paranormal events versus the fakes, the posers, or whether
oh my God!
Or whether it's something
with the internet and with TV and everything, I'm almost getting to the point where I don't believe anything. I know there's stuff out there that I've experienced things, and there's people that I believe when they tell me something, I believe them. You guys are some of them, but I think there's just so much I'm trying to think of a funny word to say on there.
Bullshit.
Bullshit. And people are doing it to try to get fame, to try to get likes, to try to get money, try to get a TV show, and there's just fake stuff galore, and it's hard to sort it out. What do you believe? What don't you believe? You can't go in and say, people say, you're a skeptic. It's like, no, I'm not a skeptic. I'm not a skeptic at all. But I don't believe what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
That doesn't mean I'm a skeptic, because I think it's possible that it can happen.
Kayla would say tree fitty.
No, I would say 10%. I believe about 10% of what comes out of people's mouth. But that has nothing to do with paranormal. In general, I only believe 10% of what comes out of most people's mouths.
That wasn't a question.
When it has to do with paranormal...
happen? Does weird things happen? Yes. Obviously, yes. And so you're saying that, is that 100%, is that just what people say? Or is it 100% of what you see yourself?
Okay.
And I would agree with today. Overall, last year and beyond, I would say probably about 20 to 30% of our cases were actual, maybe higher. What?
Izzy's question.
20 or 30% were real or fake?
No, higher than that. So 60% were probably actual, as serious as the client said it was. It said it was. Said it was really going on. 20% was not as emergency oriented.
The rest of them went to Francie.
Yeah, the other 20% went to Francie. that would be my assessment on it. Yeah, and Francie was busy. And Izzy wants to know how have any of us experienced the Fae?
Yes, and they're assholes.
Yes, I have.
The what?
The Fae.
The Fae.
Fairies.
Oh,
Gnomes.
okay.
Fae.
All the damn
little
time.
jerks who scratch you. They're mean.
The little jerks that move stuff and hide stuff in your house when you try to do landscaping without their approval.
If you weren't such an ass, they wouldn't scratch you.
That's so not true, because they haven't scratched you once.
Yeah, me and them are cool. You're a douche.
Oh.
Well.
So
can they turn you around in the woods and get you lost and confused?
That's not their purpose. To be perfectly honest, that's not really their purpose. If you are walking in the woods, they want to stay as far away from you as possible.
No.
They don't want you getting lost because they want you to get the hell out of their living room.
If you're walking in the woods,
unless it's buckwudgies.
Yeah, but I
I've
mean,
never been lost in the woods.
It depends on.
Ever.
Me either.
Even when I was a kid.
No, neither have I. And I was in the woods all the damn time.
Yeah, I always seemed to have an innate sense of where I was in the woods.
Mm-hmm. But no.
Even wandering around land between the lakes, I didn't get lost in the woods, and that's an easy place. I would think that would have been an easy place to get lost.
They may watch you, they may check to see that you're not going into something.
Land between the lakes.
It's just a huge
Is
nature
it flat?
preserve. No, it's not flat at all. It's got hills in it. It's got, heavily forested. You can get in places where there probably hadn't been a human foot before, or hadn't been one in decades.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So cool.
Yeah.
Question.
Okay. So when someone has the natural ability to astral travel, do you think they were able to do it in past lives, or is it just something some are more attuned to than others?
Something more attuned than others.
That was freaking quick.
But they could have had the ability easy enough in a past life. That's hands down.
Like, is it something that can be passed down through your lives?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you learn it each lifetime. Or It's already developed ability.
Maybe when you come into this incarnation, you say, well, this time I'm not going to do that, or I want to handicap myself.
You won't always know. You don't always remember your past lives. Most people don't. And a lot of people, they'll go to a reader and have a past life regression or a past life reading done, and then those lives will come back in bits and pieces.
No, okay, so have you ever looked at somebody, this is the phrase that people use, but have you ever looked at somebody and gone, that person is an old soul? It doesn't matter if they are 2, it doesn't matter if they are 109, you see more to them than
your daughter,
just the surface.
One of your kids, yeah.
Okay, so I think
some people you look at and they've been on this ride before, and some of them this is their first time.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, sometimes I think it's almost like a light goes on over their hair. There's just something about them. It's like you've been on this ride.
It's like you can see it in their eyes.
Yes,
they have like old eyes. I don't know how to explain that, but
it is.
There are specific people.
Right.
We do perceive that, though. Yeah, I see people like that. One person in your household strikes me as that. So
actually, she's been told that by a lot of damn people too. So, but I think that different abilities come through that you may have been into in past lives, or that you may have been into in different reincarnations of yourself. And I think that there are some that, because of the fact that you've been on this train before, you have done these things before, and you know how this works and that works, that they come naturally to somebody. They aren't actually coming naturally to your consciousness. You're just pulling them out of your subconsciousness because it's something
like
that you did on regular basis.
Well, I had a friend in Asheville who was very much into the esoteric and new agey type of stuff, and his impression was that he and I, this was the one time that we were going to exist on the planet that we didn't kill each other because we were on opposite sides of some, ideology, some kind of army that we had killed we've gone through time and encountered each other before, and one had killed the other, it was this. I didn't feel that, but there was a connection with this person though.
Well,
I felt like the first time I met him, it's like, I know you. It's like. So,
do you know when?
Speaking of him in a past tense, I was wondering, have you killed him yet?
No, there was 3 of us that all hung together, and when the third person died, it was sort of like that person was the cement that held us together or something. It just sort of, we drifted apart after the third member died of the little club there.
You know that saying that you'll find your niche, you'll find your people, you'll find your group?
Mm-hmm.
I believe that there is a group you are supposed to find.
A soul family. Okay?
Basically. Except for the fact that 1 or 2 people can be different, or 1 or 2 souls can be different. Or, so let's say it's like a group of 5 to begin with. There's 2 couples and 1 extra person, okay? Then in the next life, these 2 might be couples, these 2 might be couples, and this might be your extra person. Or this person might not have come back at all.
They shuffle.
But, yes, so you're connected to that group. You have feelings for that group on a soul level, not on a conscious level, but not on a, let's say, sexual or whatever level. But it's more of a soul connection with a group of this amount of people. And there's 1 or 2 that'll switch out and in. depending on the reincarnation cycles.
Like last time around, I might have been my father's father, and he was my son, or maybe an aunt, somebody that is in that group.
Usually more of a friendship or a love bond, I would say. Not more of a familial bond, but more of a
something that goes beyond genetics.
Bond. Yes, something that pulls you directly to that grouping of people, making what you would call soul brothers, soul sisters, soul friends, soul whatever. And these are your group of people. These are where you were supposed to meet and who you were supposed to meet. And
circumstances arranged the meeting.
Yes.
Like, how did I meet Eric Cooper when I lived on the other side of the country?
And it's in all kinds of weird, different circumstances that bring X amount of people together at any given point. And like I said, there can be one extra, there can be one less, there can be two extra, there can be
like one person says, y'all enjoy, I'm not ready
I'm
to
not
go back.
doing this round.
No.
I'll see you guys on the next go. Yeah.
That was really cool.
On that same reincarnation thing, I was questioning, I don't want to sidetrack it, but do you think people that are here now that are complete pricks, I mean, like serial murderers and just awful human beings, do you think they get to come back?
Oh, they got no. You know what? They're going to come back as a victim.
There's a pineapple waiting for them.
Cosmic justice, man. Cosmic justice.
That's oftentimes where the karma comes into play.
You have to learn
if they're
why.
An asshole now, they're going to be the victim next time around.
And you have to learn why that was not okay to do, and what part of you that took to do it.
And you're better off if while you're corporeal, you figure that out.
Yes, otherwise you're going to be in non-corporeal hell, or whatever your version of that would be.
You're going to repeat it over and over and over again until you get it.
That's kind of what my Uncle Paul thought. You kept going through it until you got it right.
And it's kind of interesting talking about meeting people, and some people are just people, but other people you meet them and it's like, holy shit, it's almost like you already know them.
You have an instant connection to that person.
Example is Markham. He was a guy on the radio, and he was just going to drop something off here on his way back to Carolina. And I met him, and it was like I'd known him all my life.
Exactly. You and I just sort of like we were picking up where we'd left off at some point, and we just picked up.
Exactly.
Like there was no intervening time. Yeah, it's like,
it was kind of like a hey you again. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I mean by like a soul connection. Like you might not even know this person in this form, but for some reason you are connected immediately to that person because of the fact that there has been.
He was a bat.
with shiny black claws.
With shiny black claws. He just kept looking at his claws all the time.
I'm just hoping that you weren't the one that killed him in his past life, because then there's this whole nother dynamic that's
well, now
awkward.
we had a completely weird thing happen at the Holbrook Hotel. We were wandering around, and there was this one hallway. I wasn't going to go down. And
I remember that.
Yeah, I was like, no, I got killed there. I got robbed. I had some gold or something. I'd probably shot my mouth off, or something happened. Somebody that wanted what I had, and they knifed me in that hallway. And I just sort of
I remember we were standing there, and I started to walk down the hallway, and I turned around, and Eric's still standing back by the stairs. It's like, what's wrong? I walked back there. I said, what's up? We had to be kind of quiet. It was late at night.
Yeah.
He says, I can't go down that hallway. And I said, why not? And he goes, I die down there.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I think so. Probably in the era of Lola Montez, in that kind of Wild West kind of era. Yeah.
This was the heart of the gold rush.
I think I was murdered in that hall. I probably had just probably found a claim, had gotten some money ahead, and came into town to get a bath and get some clothes and live in a nice house instead of out by a creek for a while, and that somebody took advantage of the fact that my back was turned. Somebody, damn Joe, maybe it was you with a pointy stick in the lobby. that's why we do. No, I would think that would.
Again.
No, I think that would be an animosity. You know, that would be like one of those cases where you see somebody and it's hate at first sight. It's like there wasn't that kind of vibe
you
at all.
You said that there were 3 people in this scenario, though. So what if he was the one that was holding you together? He was the glue.
Okay,
no, that's possible.
There was I met the guy that I was talking about. His name was Tom. Through his it was a shirt tail road. Anyhow, the guy I worked with was Tom's wife's cousin, and we all got together. And I mean, it was instant chemistry. We used to do music together, and you know, if I wasn't working, I was in Asheville hanging with Tom. And he's the one that said, we've killed each other many times in many iterations.
Right, but what if the catalyst to that killing was whoever this mysterious third person was?
Oh, Carol?
Okay.
I don't know.
So maybe it was her. Maybe it was, like I said, maybe it was Joe because you had an instant connection with him. Maybe it was Eric. But whatever this grouping there was, this particular grouping can't be together without one of you dying.
And maybe Carol was the one that died this time. But then that fragmented the group.
It would, but you have, like I said, sometimes it can be 3, sometimes it can be 5, sometimes it can be 8, sometimes it could be 2. It's your group. So you each have X amount of people that you are connected with in this way. And whether or not you actually connect in this lifetime
depends on that.
It depends. You will always connect with at least one of them in a lifetime.
Okay.
Because these are the people. It's like your soul pact. Okay, your group,
Your clan.
your clan.
I can't just I can neither confirm nor deny. I just know that there are certain people I've met in this, and I don't make friends easily. Y'all are my friends, and know I'm kind of a dick. Just can't help it. That's the way I am. And
You are kind of dick.
Little one.
but I don't make friends easily. So when that connection happens, it's not. Like I've got a friend in Tennessee. If he and I walk into a room together, and there's 100 people. He'll walk out of that room later with 100 friends. I'll walk out of that room with 99 enemies and one person that tolerates. I mean, it's just the way it is. So when I make when that connection, like with Joe, happens, or with like Coop, that happens. You guys, I mean, it's just
Right.
I don't have an explanation to it because that's not the way things usually work.
I guess the best
me.
way that I could say is it's like a wolf pack. Okay?
Yeah.
And if this group goes off here, that's okay because you still got your pact. If one of these people die from this pact, it's okay because you still got your pact.
And maybe I migrated
but
to
you have to
pact.
have at least 2 in order to make it a pact.
Okay.
You mean a pack?
Pact.
Pact.
Either way.
Pact. There you go.
Yeah. I'm too damn tired to be talking about
so
soul
we are
connection.
going to go ahead and start wrapping it up. Thank you guys for coming on our last roundtable of the month and of the 24-hour marathon. Oh my
Can I take
God.
it for a minute?
We made it. Huh?
Can I take it for a minute?
Yeah.
All right. I want to thank Preston Dennett, Arnold Hampton, Barry Gaunt, Joe Allgeier, Francie Miller, Brian Bowden, Don Davidson, and the 3 of you. You guys rock. This was awesome. No paranormal show has done this, and I can't believe we actually did it. Joe, if you
was awesome.
ever suggest something like this again, I'm coming to California to kick you in the nuts.
You better take a step ladder.
Yeah, so, yeah.
I gotta don't worry.
And the logistics
Oh, this was
seems
ridiculous.
simple enough. It
This
really
was
does.
ridiculous, man.
Looking from the outside, but the logistics we have to go through to put this on, running this every 3 hours, with a different topic, getting the specific guests in for that specific topic, for that specific show.
And in their timelines that work for them because they're all over the country.
Yeah.
Also want to thank Michael, Tim, Dennis, all the guys who stayed in the chat room for a long time. Tiffany, of course. You guys rock.
And we do it for you.
All of you listeners, thank you so much for listening to our show.
We wouldn't do it if it wasn't for you guys.
All three of you.
And I'm going to explain this like I explain all the time. We do this for our listeners because we really don't care. This is fun for us. When this becomes a chore or a job, that's when S4 shuts down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've all got enough stress in our life. This is where we come to chill.
We all do.
This is as far from laboratory as I can get, and I love it.
Right. Absolutely.
Last thing I'm going to say, we love you all. Screw off till next week.
Absolutely. And it's time for sleep now. And I will wake up when I wake up. So, y'all have a great week. Stay safe. And remember, keep your eyes to the skies.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on S4, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. You can contact S4 through our website at www.s-4radio.com or on Facebook. Make sure you give us a like on our page and join the Forest Moon Paranormal group. If you are interested in advertising, take a look at our packages and contact Cole or Eric at 1-360-999-2830. Again, thank you. And remember, keep your eyes to the sky.